phrase lately.
I like that a lot. I'm a big fan of that. It is Wednesday till it's Thursday. Hello, friends. It's Wednesday until tomorrow when it's Thursday. But for now, it is Wednesday. Wonderful to be with you one more time again. Rob Brown and the great one, Lonzo, here on yes, indeed. We just checked. Calendar says we are correct. It is indeed Wednesday. Hope everybody is well out there across Sportslandia. What a show, what a day we got lined up for you today. We have got some NBA playoff basketball. Dallas Mavericks in trouble. Cleveland Cavaliers, I would say, in trouble. I don't think any of us suspected even for a minute that Cleveland was even going to be in this series with Boston. I'll tell you who I do think is in trouble. The Boston Celtics. But yes, I know they won last night. Yes, I know they're going to sweep the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yes, I know the Cavs have no business being on the same floor and will be lucky if they walk out of this series with a win in the bank. But that is precisely why I think the Celtics are in trouble. And I will give you my, shall we say, very overcooked theory, but a theory I am going to hold on to nonetheless. Coming up later in the show. Speaking of NBA basketball, at 9 o'clock this morning, we will be joined, as we are every single Wednesday, by the hating-ass one himself, Mario Herron of the BetQL Network. We'll talk a little NBA shooty hoops with him at 9 a.m. Looking forward to that. We have got to get into some Stanley Cup playoffs because, they entered the playoffs as the favorites to win the Eastern Conference in the National Hockey League. And now the Carolina Hurricanes are 0-2 in the hole to the New York Rangers. They did none of the things that I said yesterday they need to do if they win that series. Zero of the things. I said there are three things. Get on camera here. Three things I said you have to do. You got to limit the stupid penalties. They didn't. In fact, Zibanejad was on the ice for almost 7.5 minutes of power play time. Can I tell you a secret? If you give the Rangers power play shift 7.5 minutes of time with the one-man advantage on the ice, they're gonna score. That's a Rob Brown show guarantee. They gonna score. And guess what? They scored. In fact, they scored both the tying goal to make it 3-3 and the winning goal to make it 4-3 and reach the final number, both on the power play, both because of dumbass penalties by the Carolina Hurricanes. So, yeah, I'm going to rant a little bit about that later because this is a team that over the past handful of years has been exceptional in terms of playing that controlled chaos style of hockey. And right now, and this is true, this is the scientific linguistics. They are not doing that. They're not. They're doing the opposite right now, which is a shame because the Rod Brindamore legacy, and again, I've told you before, Dawn Staley is my favorite active head coach, any sport, any level. She just is. I would go to war for Dawn Staley if I was a player, okay? I think Dawn Staley is absolutely the epitome of finding that balance between being a general, being a leader, being a mentor, being a teacher, being a coach, but also having your players' backs. Standing up for your players a little bit, being there for your players, making them feel like you are there for them, and them wanting to play for you. I think she does that better than anybody else. But right in behind Dawn Staley, just behind, is Rob Brindamore. I love this coach. He's going to get an extension with the Canes. He should get an extension with the Canes. He's been wildly successful with the Canes, but right now, that team is playing unbridled chaos hockey. And that is, and this is true, bad in the Stanley Cup playoffs. You can get away with that in the regular season with a game here, a game there. Cannot do it with a team as good as the New York Rangers. So we're going to talk about that coming up later on in the show. You may have heard yesterday, right here on this very radio program, that I took issue with a promo that is running for our dear friends and colleagues, my comrades in arms, Diesel and Cole. A promo specifically that Cole issued a take on. And I took him to task for that take. Yesterday, during Wire to Wire, right here on the Fan Upstate, my dude Cole returned that fire back. He had some thoughts for me. Coming up at the final segment of the 7 o'clock hour, Lonzo and I are going to roll back a little game that we call Hold Up. I'm going to actually play you just a couple of minutes of Cole's response yesterday, and we are going to play Hold Up. Now, it's going to be kind of an interesting game today. And it's going to be an interesting game because right now, in this particular take, it's me versus Lonzo, Diesel, and Cole, all three on the same side. And they were very supportive of the Great One's response to me in real time yesterday. So it's going to be kind of an interesting version of Hold Up because ordinarily it's me and Lonzo taking something like Somebody Far Away that we both think is kind of ridiculous and playing Okay Stop, Hold Up with something that we both find ridiculous. In this case, we don't. It's just me and Lonzo in support of, I think we'll find out coming up at around 7:35 this morning, Cole's take.
We're taking a trip to Robb Island.
You are.
Yes.
You are. I'm going to take you to the dark side. Of course, the dark side people, the folks on the dark side don't think they're on the dark side.
Maybe you should have picked a tropical island and not one like near the pole, I guess. I don't know.
I'm a Hawaiian shirt guy. All my islands are tropical. Okay. By the way, new fleece today. What do you think? You want to hear weird? I'm 40 years old. Well, I'm 39 years old, almost 40 years old. This is true. This is the first Braves jersey I have ever owned. I've had t-shirts, I've had polos, I've had golf shirts. I have never owned a Braves jersey. Picked up my first one. Take a stab. Who's the name on the back? It's not my own. I did not put my name on this one.
Acuna.
I got a player name.
Acuna.
Chipper Jones, baby.
Oh, okay.
Going with the throwback.
It's a throwback. So even though you say you had your meltdown, you have not had your meltdown yet. It's not a true meltdown because your true meltdowns ruins the show for the rest of the day. So I know that hasn't happened yet. So I'm curious here. When you do have that inevitable meltdown, are you going to burn that jersey?
No, I think burning jerseys is dumb. They're very expensive.
So do I.
They're very expensive. Okay. Very expensive.
Next time you want to burn your jersey, just give it to me.
Yeah.
I don't care if I like your school.
Yep. Same way. Because I can either A, frame it, hang it, and make the bro cave look cooler, or B, sell it to somebody else and make some money.
Or before you burn it, like give it to Goodwill. You help someone be warm. I mean, there's that. Let
me give you a philosophy that I have on life. Great one. This is something predominantly applicable in my music career. Let me tell you a philosophy, a practice that I have in life. If I hit a point where I have plateaued with something, right? If I hit a point where I have plateaued with something, and it doesn't matter what that thing is. If I hit a point where I've plateaued with something, the way that I pick the pace back up, try to elevate myself in that world, is to buy something pertaining to that, right? So if I get to the point where I hit a piece of music that I'm really struggling to learn on guitar. And I know that actually makes me sound like I'm talented. I'm not. I memorized the chord pattern. That's pretty much it. You can ask my bassist. He gets very frustrated with me because he's like, look, come around from the 5, play the 7th. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what any of those things mean. Just tell me what chord to play and when to play it. If it's on 3 and I switch to F, just say that and I'll do that. Okay?
Bro, I don't have that many fingers, okay?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
I don't know what that means.
I only have 5 fingers. I don't have 7.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to use? I don't know.
I do not know what that means. All right. But when I hit that point where I'm struggling a little bit with that, what I will do is I will go down to the local music store and I will buy something connected to the guitar, or something connected to the performance, something connected to the band. I'll go buy myself a new wireless pack or some new in-ear monitors, or I'll go buy a new mic stand that's like really cool and decked out, or I'll go buy a new accessory for the guitar, maybe a new pick guard to kind of change up the look, whatever. Because then I go home and for whatever reason, my dumb brain is like, hey, you just spent money on this thing. You need to learn how to use it. Then I'll use that as the motivation to get better. I think I did this with this jersey. I did. I think I spent this off season for the Atlanta Braves absolutely losing my mind about how good this team's going to be. I spent this off season looking at this team and going, all right, you are bringing back like too damn many all-stars to be anything but legend. Like, and when I say legendary, I mean freaking legendary this year. You have too much talent to be anything but a historically good team. I went on podcasts, I went on national shows, and I was pimping this team everywhere. Got a couple of buddies here in the hood. They do a baseball podcast called the Coach's Son Pod. Very good. A couple of guys from right here in the area, two baseball lovers, Chris and Andrew. Subscribe to it. It's phenomenal. I listen to it regularly. I love these cats. They're just dudes loving baseball. I went on the BetQL. And as a matter of fact, today at 11:30, I'm going back on the BetQL network again to talk about the Braves. Because the hosts on that network are having an absolute damn ball right now with my pain. With my pain. Because the Braves, I spent all season saying 101.5 win total. Slam the over. Bet your house on the over. Bet the farm. Bet your kid's inheritance. Bet their college fund. Sell your car. Bet the total you get from that. Bet everything that you can liquidate and turn into cash. Bet all of that on the Atlanta Braves going on the over win total this year. And then Spencer Strider goes down. We've had like 3 or 4 pitch. Pierce Johnson goes down. He is out now. Who was it yesterday? I think AJ Minter went down yesterday. The Braves are running out of bodies, man.
This is good though, because you get your injury.
What the hell?
You get your injuries out of the way early in the season, then you get everybody back and you make that run late, or in the middle of the season, I suppose. Are these injuries season-ending injuries?
Don't know. Here, let me tell you why the panic is also real. As Matzik, it was Matzik that went on the list yesterday. Tyler Matzik placed on 15-day injured list. They are bringing up AAA Gwinnett guys to play this week. Just like, hey, you work here now.
Good for them. I get why you're on the edge of major panic, but how do you not know that one of those guys comes up and kills it?
You don't know that. I don't want to experiment with it. I just want to have my guys play.
When do you move people up then? Is during the off season you move them up? You don't,
I want proven dudes. This is not a developmental squad. This is a team that is the MLB, or was the MLB favorites, or no worse than second to win the World Series this year. And now I'm going to have a bullpen built out of guys that 3 days ago were all pitching on a team called the Stripers.
Sounds like a good team. By the way, I don't want anyone to get hurt, but injuries do happen. And if they're going to happen, you want them to happen early in the season, so you have these people back and strong for the run at the end. That's all.
Now let me give you the reason for the panic here. Great one. There's a reason. Tyler Matzik got sent down. Why? Elbow discomfort. He's got elbow discomfort. Now, do you remember who else had elbow discomfort? Spencer Strider. Tyler Matzik has now shown all of the same symptoms that led to Spencer Strider having to have Tommy John and going down for the season. And, oh, by the way, about 9 other starting pitchers around the league. Pierce Johnson on injured reserve now. He's going to the 15-day. Why? Elbow discomfort, the exact same symptoms that led to Spencer Strider, once again, having to miss the regular season. So you lost Matzik, you lost Pierce Johnson, you got Sean Murphy, who hopefully is going to be coming back soon. You got Spencer Strider, you got Angel Perdomo, you got just dude after dude after dude. They're falling like flies. The freaking Atlanta hospital right now is about to build its own wing of the hospital just for Braves at this point. And the issue is not that is happening, but if you go back to the preseason, do you remember what my key was for Atlanta? It was come out of the gate white hot. Come out of the gate white hot. Why? Because when the inevitable happens, and when you hit a slump, whether it's due to injuries or the bats just go cold or whatever the case is, you need to have a cushion between you and Philly, because while your win total is about 15 games higher on the season than the Philadelphia Phillies, that's still a really good team. And every year we have one of those teams that outperforms their win total by about 15 games. And if it turns out to be the Philadelphia Phillies this year, you do not want to be in the wild card spot where you got to go on the road to Philly. You got to go on the road to LA if you get to the NLCS, whatever the case might be, or the NLDS, frankly. You don't want to go on the road. You want it, even if you got to risk the bye week screwing you up again, you want those games to be in the ATL. Well, would you look at this, ladies and gentlemen, with a 26-11 record and a full 3-game advantage, your NL, I can do this. I'm frustrated. Leave me alone. Your NL East leaders are the Philadelphia Phillies. You're 3 games in the hole. Now, again, as we have pointed out, you played 33 games, okay? They've played 37. They're a little ahead of you. But you played 33 games. It is early in the season. It just is. It's just early in the season. But, man, the longer that you let this team hold a lead on you, the harder it is to come back. And right now, a lot of baseball left. But in July, there'll be less baseball left. And if all these guys are dropping like flies and we got to turn our bullpen into a AAA developmental league, yeesh. Don't love that. Don't love that. Hence yesterday, firing it off. Let's take a break. We got a lot to get to when we come back in a minute. The Celtics won yesterday. Game 1 against Cleveland in the books, and it was not really a game. It was more of a practice for them. But I'm going to tell you why I actually think the Celtics might be the team that's in the most trouble in the East. We'll talk about the Western Conference coming up later in the show as well. Rob Lonzo and you, the Rob Brown Show, is on your radio. Hit it! The Fan Upstate. Mike, I will tell you that while my number one rule of gambling is indeed never bet on your own team, because no matter how neutral you think you are, your heart wins sometimes. I make an exception. Every year at the beginning of the year, I drop $100 on the Braves to win the World Series. Every year. It's just a tradition that I have picked up a few years back. I've enjoyed it, and it paid off a couple of years ago. Braves won the World Series. It basically covered my $100 bet for like the next 7 years. And I bought some very nice whiskey with it. With the 101.5, they won 104 last year, and they weren't trying for the last month of the season. I think they're going to be fine, except for maybe not now.
I forgot to push record on the thing, so the
Happens.
first segment will be pulled from the stream. So I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
When you hear, nice. Where's your teeth, man?
Hockey bros, bro.
That smile makes me uncomfortable. Oh, there's still some little pieces stuck up in there. Ugh. Get yourself a partial plate there, feller.
We got a lot of respect, and you know what to do.
Yeah, the boys are back together. It's your favorite recruit. What color do you want? Hit the button, you can say. Is it real? Is it true? Adam Cole and the baby.
Oh. Whoa, is that us?
We should completely edit that out. That's the worst thing I've ever heard. That song. Tuesday. You think it's Wednesday, but you know what day it is, okay? Any other?
All right, I better stop. I don't want to get flagged. That's Adam Cole, Claudio Castagnoli, Xavier Woods, and Tyler Breeze.
Does Adam Cole still play with them? Still hang out with them?
Yeah, it's that's what the video is.
These are going to hurt you, sir.
So earlier this week, we were talking about the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are not just 0-2 in the hole. They are 0-2 in the hole, having gotten the dog you-know-what beat out of them.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Kind of feels that way. Having gotten the dog snot kicked out of them 2 times at home. At home. And I said, let me tell you what I think went wrong with the Denver Nuggets. Here it is. The Nuggets, I think, kind of decelerated a little bit in the last week and a half of the season. I don't think Denver particularly cared about being the 1 seed. I think they just wanted to be one of the top 2 or 3 seeds. I think they wanted to ensure that if they had to go on the road, it wasn't going to be until the Western Conference Finals. And by that point, they would be in a rhythm, right? So I think they shut it down about a week and a half. Then they caught the LA Lakers in round number 1. The Lakers are a good team. At the best, a good team. But the Lakers are an old team. The Lakers are not a team that is built to go against a very physical front court like the Denver Nuggets. And so basically, we ended up in a spot where Denver was able to just kind of hit cruise control and coast by Los Angeles. And that gets them to the next round, to round number 2 of the NBA playoffs. And here come the Minnesota Timberwolves. Featuring, by the way, the recently crowned NBA Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, who, also, by the way, didn't even play in Game 2. He was off with his wife. They were having a baby. Did not play in round 2 or in game number 2.
Some people are critical of that. I noticed you stayed away from it.
I stayed away from it because to me, it's a dumb fight. It was his kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even me, I'm like, you're having a baby. Now, if it's like baby number 5, all right, who cares? You know? Like baby number 5, don't skip the playoffs.
But still, having a baby is a dangerous procedure for the wife, and you want to be there, and it's still your child. I don't care if it's baby number 10.
I get it. I'm actually being sarcastic here. I actually have zero issue. It's a game. There's nuance to everything. I honestly
and by the way, they didn't need him.
Yeah, they also didn't need him. I might be a little more reserved if it's like game 7 of the NBA Finals, right? As opposed to game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals. Like, all right, that's your kid. Go have your kid. If it's game 7 of the NBA Finals, I'm like, if nothing else, I'm going to be like, y'all couldn't have planned that out a little bit better. You kind of know, you kind of got a date range, right? Hey, honey, if we check a bow wow tonight, 9 months from today, it's the NBA Finals. And I'm being sarcastic. Just so we're very clear.
Okay. There might be some people out there who think that way. I've never met any that I'm aware of, but it doesn't mean they don't exist.
Because when she says, come to bed, you ain't thinking about the NBA Finals. You're thinking about the bow chicka bow wow. You know what I'm saying. Is it creepy yet? I think it is. All right. Point A is, jokes aside. No
I was
problem with
about to
Rudy
reach
Gobert
for the music, man. I'm just saying, if you want to,
we might make his return later on the show. We'll see. Here's what I'll say. I don't care about that. All right. He missed the game to have a baby. I mean, for his wife to have a baby. Can we all stop saying we're pregnant? No, you're not. She's pregnant. You are very clearly not pregnant. She is pregnant. I can see it from here.
Wow, that's an unusual take from you.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. It is the exact same with men who say, wifey. That's my wifey.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
That one's a little cringe for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
I am absolutely Liberab the woke warrior. That's a little cringe from me. That's my wifey.
I'm overly macho, so that kind of stuff's going to bother me. But
Women
the fact
saying
that it bothers
hubby,
you.
no problem.
Yeah, that's
no problem.
Why though? Why is one?
I don't know. I don't know. This may just be a holdover from my toxic masculinity that even I, Liberab the woke warrior, still have a little bit of somewhere deep down.
You probably got a little more than you think.
Just a little bit. Just a tiny little smidge. Don't say wifey. Let's just say wife. It actually takes you less time to say wife.
It does.
It's a shorter word.
You're right.
What are we doing? Anyway, all right, let me get to my theory here. So Rudy Gobert misses game 2. Doesn't matter.
So October 1st, you're not going to be saying my wifey.
No.
Okay.
No.
Good to know.
Honestly, she'll still be lady friend at that point. I mean, at this point, I've just kind of like.
If you call her wifey, she probably will hurt you.
She probably would hate me if I said, or not hate me, but she would hate if I said that. She'd be like, no, do not, nah, because she's country, right? She's country. So that like, you got to have a little man in you, which I don't at all. And we all know it, but I got to pretend. Okay. Anyway. Oh yeah. I had a point to this segment. All right, here goes. Here's what I got for you. The Denver Nuggets turned it off for so long that when it came time to turn it back on again, they couldn't. Now, do I think that in game 3 on the road, they will perform better? Yes. Yes, I do. I don't think there's any way that the reigning, defending, undisputed NBA world champions are going to go 3 games in a row and suck and then suck and then suck again. I don't think that's reality. I think this team is absolutely going to hit the next gear in game number 3 against the Timberwolves. The problem is they're going to be in Minnesota and playing in front of a crowd that has got nothing but heartbreak for the existence of that freaking team. And now all of a sudden they're up 2-0 on the reigning defending NBA world champions. You don't think that barn is going to be a little bit hot? It's going to be. That crowd is going to be hot, dude. So I think what happened here is because they took so long, they couldn't shift up a gear. And this is the NBA champions, could not shift up a gear. And Minnesota took full advantage of that. Why am I talking about that? Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you the Boston Celtics out of the Eastern Conference. The Boston Celtics caught Miami in round number 1. And OBT dubs, there is no such thing as heat culture. I'm real tired of hearing about it. There's not. Do you know what there is? There's Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. That's heat culture. Go back the last couple of years while they've been building heat culture, and what do you see? Jimmy Butler, 40-point game, 40-point game, 40-point game. That's what you see. Eric Spoelstra is a fantastic coach, but at the end of the day, they built the roster around Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, and Tyler Hero. You're putting that up against any big 3. I don't know, man. Tyler Hero, wonderful supplemental player to Jimmy Buckets. Not a guy. Not a top flight guy. Okay? That's who Boston caught in round 1. Round number 2, they catch the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, all due respect to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who knocked off a team that I very much like for the future in the Orlando Magic. I like the Magi moving forward. But let's not sit here and pretend that outside of Donovan Mitchell, that this Cleveland team is like top 5 in the league. They're not. They're average or below average in just about every statistical metric that you're going to look in there. You got Donovan Mitchell, who is dragging this team to some playoff success, dragging this team to playoff success. And so because you've got him dragging this team to playoff success, that's who Boston catches in round number 2. It is not going to be a competition. Boston's going to sweep this series. Cleveland might, possibly, maybe potentially get a win. They might get one win at home. But I think Boston sweeps this series. And that is going to take us, ladies and gentlemen, to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, we don't know who Boston is going to get in the Eastern Conference Finals. What I do know is the Knicks are up 1-0 on the Pacers right now. And regardless of which of those two teams you get, you were either going to get a gritty, determined, nasty New York Knicks team, or you're going to get a young, fast, hype, energetic Pacers team. Either way, the Knicks or the Pacers are going to be, not a question mark, a statement. The winner of the Pacers and the Knicks, whoever takes that series, going to be the best team that the Boston Celtics will play in the playoffs. And here's my concern, great one. If the Denver Nuggets can get stuck in the mud, if they can take a little break, if they can end up having in round number 1 a series that's not all that competitive, and that's just one series, not two. The Boston Celtics have 2 uncompetitive series to open the playoffs. Miami's not competitive. Sorry, Cleveland. All due respect, you're the 4 seed. You are not competitive with the Boston Celtics. So Denver had 1 uncompetitive series, and they are stuck. They are in the mud, and now they're down 0-2. Boston has 2. And Boston is a franchise that we already know historically underperforms in the playoffs the more the pressure builds. Great one. Am I nuts for saying the Pacers-Knicks winner is going to go to the NBA Finals because Boston is going to spend 3+ weeks not playing competitive basketball?
Boston has something that Denver no longer has, and that's hunger. And I think Boston's going to be fine.
Okay. All right. So I'm out of my own on this one. It's been that way all week. I'm used to it. Ladies and gentlemen.
And it's only Wednesday.
And it's only Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right?
Until it's Thursday.
Until it's Thursday. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. I'm assuming that Christopher here yet.
Oh, he's here.
Oh, he is? Good.
Yeah.
I have to go see if he has a tiny baby. Because I left these all night. BRB.
Okay. No, I got you. Go ahead.
For his 9th save of the season. The series continues tonight. Atlanta lefty Chris Sales 4-1. He's scheduled to get the start. Meanwhile, Boston righty Nick Pivetta is expected to come off the injured list and be ready to pitch 5 innings. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash of the Fan Upstate.
Up to the minute, upstate traffic. Nothing on I-85 to slow you down between Greenville and Spartanburg so far this morning, except the road work of Pelham Road, where the left lanes are closed southbound. The Cordell and Cordell Jam Cam shows there's currently no backup as traffic is light. 385 and 185 are both clear in Greenville. 26 and 585 are wide open through Spartanburg. From the News Talk 98.9 WLRD Traffic Center, I'm Bill Brooks on the Fan Upstate.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy happiness, but money did buy your boat, where you find peace fishing, unlike at home with 3 teenage daughters. Because fish never argue about who stole whose crop top, or get mad the other fish used up all the hot water. No, they just swim around, never embarrassed to be seen with you in public. So save money by bundling your boat or RV insurance with home or auto from Progressive, and buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're
right,
on
well,
a budget,
if you need
then
to find out.
Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for
Guess what,
less.
guess what, guess what?
Staples. Staples carrying everything you need to move your business
I
forward.
just-
Now it's
What?
Staples save $50 on your purchase order.
Really?
I looked at him. Hang on, guys. Got to step away for 10 seconds. Very quick. Don't you think?
Yes.
Can we go back to when not everything needed a battery, for God's sake? Man, I'm old.
Yeah, I don't understand why you need
Restart.
is a battery for your
All right,
noise
so,
canceling?
yes.
Okay,
So
all right.
for those of you, big ass truck in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's the biggest truck I've ever seen in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to be here, sir.
Oh, you didn't see the lady with a pickup truck pulling a big old camper on a Saturday that just pulled up next to all our cars.
I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't around you when you saw it. How's that?
It wasn't just me. Everybody was upset.
I for those of you that listened last week, I told you the wire in my old headset, we call them cans in the business, and my old cans went out, and so I went and bought new ones, and I did not realize till I got here that these have noise canceling, but it's battery operated. And the problem is when you turn the noise canceling off, then they're not great headphones. When the noise canceling's on, they're incredible, but when it's off, they're bad headphones.
So you're saying your own voice is so loud that you
No,
it's-
I'm saying the sound quality of the headphones is not great. So
what's battery life on those though? Because that might be a concern going forward.
It's not, because I brought these in for the first time Monday and I left them on overnight last night.
Okay,
I finished
all right.
editing my submission for this year's awards. I emailed it to you guys at like 11:15 at night last night and then went to bed. And then I left them on until I got here this morning at 4:45. So that's how long it is. Anyway, y'all don't care about that. Let's get back to basketball. I have a working theory that I gave to you in the very last segment. The working theory is this. I'm watching the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets had, again, I think, and this is all predicated on my ever so humble yet frequently correct analysis and opinion. I think that Denver was kind of taking it easy down the stretch, down the last week, maybe week and a half of the NBA regular season. I don't think they were super concerned. In fact, I think Michael Malone at one point was like, hey, we just want to be, a top seed. I think they were taking it easy. I think they got into the playoffs. I think they had what was, at least on paper, an uncompetitive first round. Now, that's not to say the Lakers weren't fighting their rear ends off to make it competitive. They were. But at the end of the day, that's a team led by a 39-year-old LeBron James, and it's led by a 39-year-old LeBron James because Anthony Davis was brought in to be the next big Laker thing, and he doesn't want to be. I think he's perfectly fine to be the Robin to Bron's Batman. I'll tell you the truth. I think if Bron walks, I think AD might get sent out after him because he's not the guy that I want to hang the mantle of franchise player on, and it showed in this series.
Wow, that's complete rebuild for
Yes, it
LA.
is.
Wow.
Because D'Lo's got to go. And outside of that, who you working with? That's probably what the Lakers roster in the beginning. You got AD, you got LeBron, you got D'Lo, who, by the way, just disappears for
Gonna
stretches.
build a
at times.
team around Austin Reeves.
Austin Reeves, baby. Which we both love Austin Reeves.
We do.
He ain't replacing LeBron James, okay? Even 39-year-old LeBron James. He ain't replacing the guy. Anyway, the point is that team is not all that competitive to me. They're good. They're good enough to make the playoffs. They're good, but they're not. They're not.
They were barely good enough to make the playoffs. They were in the play-in. So I mean,
they were. So the Nuggets.
But you know what?
That even helps me more.
By the way, but they were mid-season champions.
They were mid-season champions. Did you see the freaking Listen, this is coming from somebody who is a fan. I might be the only damn one in South Carolina, but I am a huge fan of the NBA's in-season tournament. I absolutely adore that project. Adam Silver, best commissioner in professional sports. I love the in-season tournament. After the Lakers got bounced 4-1 in the opening round of the NBA playoffs, the mayor of LA sent out a tweet that was like, well, at least we're NBA in-season tournament champions. What a fun season it was. And it's like, okay, listen, as a fan.
Got that banner early. Yeah.
As a fan of the in-season tournament, and I am, okay? As a fan. If the I want you to know, great one. If the Pelicans ever win the in-season tournament, dude, I'm buying the hat. I'm buying the T-shirt. I'm hanging the banner in this studio for y'all to watch on the stream the rest of the season. All right?
Are you going to hang it from the ceiling? Because that's where they belong.
It might go right in that window right there. Zion's jersey might have to move over a space to hang the 2025 New Orleans Pelicans NBA in-season tournament banner right there in the window. Because I am all in on the in-season tourney. I absolutely adore it.
3 seasons tops. That thing makes
no
it.
chance. I guarantee it's around in a decade. I guarantee it. You know why? Because everybody can say it's dumb. It's dumb. You know what it did? Jack the ratings of those games up. It made money.
I'd be willing to bet.
What's the thing that matters most?
You won't be able to tell me I told you so. Because in 10 years, man, I'll be 65. I doubt I'm sitting here. So.
Because you're retired? I hope.
Probably.
I hope.
No, I'm not talking about dying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we just got real existential up in here.
No. I got family who lived like into their hundreds. No, I'm going to live long enough to be a burden on my children.
Okay,
that's my goal.
Sure. Yeah, I'm just making sure.
I might even pretend. I might pretend to be a burden just so I can laugh every time they leave the room. I don't know.
You're going to be old enough to actually be Pappy. Can't wait.
Yeah, that's scary.
All right, so back to my theory. My theory here is, I said it in last segment, I want to get Lonzo's thoughts a little bit more on this. My theory here is, I think having an opening round like Denver did almost does a bit of a disservice. And you go, wait a minute, Rob, the Timberwolves they swept the Suns. I agree. The Suns are a good team. The Suns were the 6th seed, but the Suns were the 6th team, like, barely. And they were just behind the Mavs as the 5 seed, who were just behind the Clips as the 4 seed. The Suns are, I must say this, I don't know if it's going to get some pushback or not. Suns are a better team than the Lakers. I think Minnesota demolishing the Suns, Minnesota played a good series, competitive. They were full throttle in that series. Denver never was. And I think on top of that, we talked about this, I think that is the style of the Denver Nuggets. The style of the Denver Nuggets is, as I have been saying for 2 weeks now, rope-a-dope. They're going to lean back, move, hips, shoulders, head. Every time you throw a punch where their head is, bang, it moves over. It ain't there. You're throwing punches where their head was. And then once you have gone, and you slow down and you take a step back because you want to get your feet back under you, you look up, and when you know it, here's Nikola Jokic on fresh legs coming forward, ready to just pop you in the jaw, right? Because you're tired, and they're not. They've been resting. They've been letting the weight, the ropes hold their weight. That's what the rope-a-dope is. And then they come back and punch you. The problem is when you play that style of basketball and you play it against a team like the LA Lakers, who just are not in your stratosphere. Sorry, Laker fans. When you play a team that's not in your stratosphere and you rope-a-dope, you come down to their level. Now, you don't make them come up to yours. You come down to their level, and then you played, especially because Los Angeles stole a game. And again, I do think they stole a game. You played 4 games of Lakers basketball. Lakers basketball, not good. And then you played 4 games that had like 7 minutes at the end where you played Nuggets basketball. That's not enough time to develop a rhythm. It's not enough time to develop a cadence within your game that you need to carry forward when you do play a very good team like Minnesota. Minnesota, on the other hand, just dominated a very good Phoenix team. They dominated Kevin Durant. They dominated Devin Booker. Just a very good team that they just kept grinding on. Next. 4 games in a row. Then I look over at Boston, and I will give Boston credit for this. Boston's beating the hell out of Miami. They've beaten the hell out of Cleveland in round 2. They're only up 1-0. They win last night by what? 25 points? 26 points? And it wasn't that close? They're going to beat the hell out of Cleveland. And the good news is, if there's a way around this theory, in my ever so humble yet frequently correct opinion, it is when you come up against a team like LA, when you come up against a team like Phoenix, when you come up against a team like Miami, like Cleveland, you beat the hell out of them. You give them the best version of you so that when you get to the next round, even though you might be a little tired because you just went real hard in the paint, because of a couple of things. Number one, if Boston only plays 4 games against Cleveland, I think Pacers-Knicks is going 7, 6 at least.
Right. If you can sweep them, you sweep them so you get some rest.
Yeah, you get 4 or 5 days to recover, and you've built that rhythm, built that momentum. My problem is this. Even though they beat the hell out of the Heat, even though they're going to beat the hell out of Cleveland, that's 2 bad teams. That's 2 bad teams. Sorry. I know Cleveland was 4th in the East. I know.
So are there no good teams in the playoffs?
Yes.
I mean,
yes, there are.
And who would those teams be?
The Thunder, the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, the Celtics, the Pacers, and the Knicks.
Okay.
Those are my good teams.
Okay.
I think over in the West, as of right now, by the way, how exciting is Thunder Timberwolves? That is a youth revolution in the NBA. That's 2 young teams that are going to freaking go.
So you've already put Denver and Cancun.
They're down 0-2 and they're negative 50 in the point differential right now. No,
you don't even think they'll at least get 1?
Oh, they're getting 2 at minimum.
Okay. All right.
They're still the Denver Nuggets. And I think at this point, just because of the fact that you got head coach Michael Post Malone, you've got a great coach. You think Nikola Jokic, what did he score in the last game? 16? Was 16 in the last game? You think after coming out, scoring 16, Jamal Murray scored 8 points. And I know he was a little hobbled, a little banged up. But do you think Murray and Jokic, after scoring 16 and 8 in game 2, aren't going to come out game 3 on the road at Minnesota and just try to embarrass them on home court? Of course they are. They're still the Denver Nuggets. And I think one thing, and I'll tell you this, I love this as a gambler. The public loves to overreact. Because I think, Lonzo, a lot of people in the public they're writing the Nuggets off. They're cooked, right? They're done. They got beat twice, and they got beat twice. And so what's going to happen is, coming up in game 3, the overwhelming majority of the public is going to throw all their money at the Timberwolves to cover. It's going to drag that line over to Minnesota, and then you're going to get maybe 3-4 extra points on the cover to play with for Denver. I'm going to bet Denver and fade the public here. As a bettor, I love it. As a basketball guy, I'm real intrigued because I almost think maybe you bet the Nuggets to win money line on the road game 3 at Minnesota, because that's going to be like plus 250. I'm going to double up my money if they do. And I'm thinking to myself, Denver's not a team. Here's the answer, and this is why it kind of makes it tough. Denver's not a team, great one. Correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I don't think you will. That really gives a damn about pride. Right? I don't think they do. I think the only way that a team based around Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. works is Michael Malone has built a team full of guys who are team first guys, right? How many times have I said, the Denver Nuggets are your uncle's favorite basketball team? And you know what uncle I'm talking about, all right? That old school uncle. That Larry Bird's the greatest of all time uncle. You know what uncle I'm talking about. The Nuggets are your uncle's favorite basketball team. Why? because they have got the best player on planet Earth. And when he won the NBA Finals last year at a moment where guys like LeBron and AD would be drowning themselves in champagne and brewskis in the locker room, what did Nikola Jokic say? Great one.
He wants to go home.
I want to go see my horses, man. I want to go home. They said, are you coming to the NBA championship parade? And he said, when is it? And they said, Thursday. And he said, oh, no, I'm leaving Wednesday for Serbia. I do think he stuck around. But the point is, he was like, I don't care about a parade.
He was probably told he had to stick around.
I'm sure he was. But he didn't care about a parade. He didn't care about any of that. They said literally on the floor after that matchup, after they won the title, they're like, how do you feel? And he went, first answer, I feel like the job is done. I can go home now. Like, that was it. For the record, I don't think I've ever personally connected with an athlete as much as I did in that moment. As a guy who looked in the camera and said, I can go home now. I just want to go home. I just want to go home and be with my pet. Trust me, him, and Caleb Williams. I just want to go home and cuddle my dog. That's all I want. That's all I want to do. And I think that's spectacular. But I think that attitude is the only thing that can save Denver here. I should say getting rid of that attitude is the only thing that can save Denver. They've got to play for pride. Jokic and Murray have to come out embarrassed to move on. Over on the other side, I wonder if Boston's not going to be too prideful. Gentlemen sweeping round one that frankly shouldn't have been. The only reason that Miami won a game was because they had one of the greatest three-point nights in the history of the NBA playoffs, and they got lucky to win that game. They're going to sweep the Cleveland Cavaliers unless Donovan Mitchell has like a 60-point night in him somewhere, which he might. He's been putting up 38, 39s so far. Unless he's got a 60-pointer in him, they're going to sweep Cleveland. Then they're going to go up against either a very gritty Knicks team or a very youthful, energetic Pacers team. And they, at that point, will have gone up to 4 weeks. Because remember, they closed out the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference in like December.
I can't write teams off until they're down 3-0. And both of those series could become a series. Denver could come back and win a couple against Minnesota, make that a series. And
Sure.
Cleveland, however you think about them, they could actually come back and make that a series.
If and only if Donovan Mitchell is him. And don't get me wrong, Donovan Mitchell is him. Donovan Mitchell might be having the best playoffs of any NBA player right now, with the exception of maybe Derek White.
And I don't know what the ratings are for the NBA, but I'm sure they would love to, because all professional sports want extended playoffs. So, I mean,
For sure. You ready for the drama? You ready for the conspiracy theory that I'm going to leave you with as a teaser before Alonzo reads you a sports flash? Here it is. Cleveland goes 7 against Boston. Shocks the world. Cleveland wins this series against Boston. Shocks the world. Goes to the Eastern Conference Finals. Loses in 7 to the Knicks. And then what does everybody say, Lonzo, about the Cleveland Cavaliers? LeBron, come back home. We're close. We're close. If you were here, we're in the NBA title game. LeBron, come home.
Seems like we were talking to someone on the air and they were upset about LeBron. We had a caller and I said, what would you do if LeBron went back to Cleveland? And I don't recall if he had an answer. I think it was last week when a caller called in and said something about that. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Could you imagine?
No, you know who would draft Bronny? Probably
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes.
You're damn right they would.
Yeah.
They will trade every pick for the next 10 years to get Bronny James. Now, the rumor is LeBron doesn't care as much now as he did last year. But I also think LeBron was trying to stop the distractions. And that was a big one. LeBron, bring your talents to C-Town. Lonzo, bring your talents to this sports flash.
Sometimes you just want to go home. Sometimes. Let's talk hockey since we talked a lot of basketball. Once again, Carolina penalties caused the Hurricanes to drop a 4-3 decision to New York, placing them in a 2-game hole to the Rangers. New York's tying and winning goals were both scored with with a 1-man advantage. Game 3 is Thursday night in Raleigh. Dallas scored 3 goals in the opening frame against the Avalanche and managed to lose a 4-3 game to go in a hole 1-0. The Triple Crown is in play for Kentucky Derby winner Mystic Dan, but there are hurdles between the champion and the 149th running of the Preakness Stakes. Mystic Dan's trainer said he ate dinner last night. I'm not reading any more of that because he ate dinner. Tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for our brand new local show, Wire to Wire, Colt Bryson and Diesel. Make sure you tune in. Wire to Wire. Yay, Jim Cam's back. Try to squeeze in a third story and it just didn't work.
Every so often in medicine, something comes along that is truly revolutionary. Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, former orthopedic surgeon, now national medical director at QC Kinetics. I believe this is one of those things. Dr. Scheinkup is talking about regenerative medicine, something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades. The old ways of dealing with joint pain, such as steroids and surgery, are no longer the best ways. If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option, using your own body's natural power to get lasting relief. And there's no better place to learn than QC Kinetics.
There is no one in this country today with more clinics, more satisfied patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772.
Come on, do the thing.
864-448-3772.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Technical guidance you need and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local.
By the way, another commercial where he's pushing the quarter zip. I don't know if you've seen that. I know, that's why I'm pointing that out. That I bet you haven't seen any of the quarter zip commercials, and they're all talking about you. Not today, of course, because you got that sweet Braves jersey on. But you know. Okay, that has me concerned that hasn't dropped. Well, because it's not 7 yet, dummy. You can refresh all you want. It's not going to do it till the hour's over. Just calling myself a dummy, not Rob, by the way. Boom. I'll be so glad when Amy's back from her honeymoon.
I mean,
overnight.
Oh,
you know.
I don't know. I honestly haven't listened this week. I've been listening to podcasts in the mornings.
Well, I get a good 45 minutes every morning of
yeah.
And I've just had to turn it down because not because of the fill-in, but because of the callers.
Yeah.
Dude.
I haven't watched NXT, but I'm going to go ahead and say that Chelsea Green and Ariana Grace is the tag team that I need in my life.
Oh, it's good. Not just that, but the family does some things. They do some things. That's all I'm saying. And
I was watching the Rangers game last night. And every time they say Tony D'Angelo, I go, hey. Last night I was watching, and I was at the kitchen table working on my submission. I had the game on TV. And I don't remember who he hit, but D'Angelo popped somebody, and the announcer's like, Tony D'Angelo with a crushing hit. And I just went, hey! And she's like, why do you keep doing that?
It's a reflex. You can't help it.
I wouldn't stop if I could.
You're an official Rob Brown lockdown. Unfiltered sports talk, manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show. Only on
The fan upstate.
And away we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Our numero dos of the Rob Brown radio program starts now. Welcome in. I am Rob Brown, the Griffin Lonzo and the ones and twos. Spectacular to have you with us here on a lovely upstate Wednesday morning. A bunch of things going on. We'll remind you coming up at 9 o'clock this morning, Mario Herring from the BetQL Network going to join us at 9 a.m. to talk a little NBA shooty hoops as we have moved on to the East and Western Conference semifinals. No bigger shocker than the Denver Nuggets being down 0-2 in the Hulk. The Boston Celtics got win number 1 in their series, which is going to be a sweep against Cleveland, despite the best efforts of a guy that I have really grown to like a lot, Donovan Mitchell. I like Spider, man. He's fun. He's got to get, unless Cleveland can make a redonkulous move this offseason and grab a superstar, LeBron James, Donovan's got to go somewhere if he wants a shot because he's running out of time. But I love that cat. I really do.
Sounds like a lot like Kyrie Irving's situation early in his career.
Yup.
And then suddenly LeBron came back and they won themselves a championship.
Yup. Sure does. Sure does. You ain't wrong. So we'll talk more NBA with Mario Herring coming up this evening. Nope, morning. I don't know how time works. It's a flat circle.
It's like evening in
For us,
Russia or something.
For us, it's the equivalent of 4 p.m. So
you're right. It is.
For us, 9 o'clock's the equivalent of like 4 in the afternoon.
And I thought that I would get back into the adjustment fairly quick, and I'm still struggling a little bit.
Yep.
Early on in my career, I was a morning show for 14 years, but I also had a lot of activities to do when I got home with the kids and sports and stuff. I don't have that anymore.
When I started in morning show radio 15, 16 years ago, and I had my first morning show, I was a producer / co-host. And the guy that was doing the show, a guy by the name of Adam McCloskey, great guy, still friends with him to this day. I asked him one morning, like my 4th, 5th, 6th morning in the saddle in the AM and getting up because I lived about 45 minutes from the station. So I had to leave my house at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was nocturnal at that point, fully nocturnal at that point. And I said, how long until you get used to getting up this early? Because there's a guy in my neighborhood. Every morning when I leave my house around 4:30. Every morning when I leave my house, there was a guy out on the street jogging.
That dude
jogging.
That dude probably goes to bed at 7 p.m.
100%. I said, how long does it take before you become a morning person? How long does it take before getting up at 3 a.m. is just like, it's just what you do? And he looked me in the face and he goes, you're not a morning person. You never get used to it. You just get used to being tired most of the time. And that has been the most prophetic thing anyone's ever said to me. But you know what we do, people? We suck it up. We sacrifice. We lay it on the line as champions for you, the people.
And if management, whatever they are listening, we wanted to be here and we still do. Just in case they just happen to be on their way into work or something and they're listening. Yeah, we're happy here. Just tired.
Yep. Let's see here. Texas says new work schedule is 6:30 to 3:30, and I suck at waking up. Woke up at 6:41 this morning. Wish me luck. I loathe being late. It ruins my day. Here's the thing. If Zoe and I are late to this show, y'all all know. Now, it's never happened, just so we're clear. We have to this point.
I don't even think that's really wood if you believe in that. It's like particle something. But
I don't think there's anything in the studio that I can use.
Maybe my head.
Point here is Zoe and I, neither one of us has missed the start of a show. That is not true of the early portion of my career.
It's been pretty close a couple of times, but usually because of traffic.
Now,
at least for me.
I was going to say, I have bounced up in here one time at like 5 till 6 because I just had a real bad everything went wrong morning, and it's going to happen. But the majority of the time I'm in here very early. I wish you the best of luck because you're telling me you woke up 41 or 13, 11 minutes. I'm good at math. 11 minutes after you were supposed to already be there. If I roll up into this building 11 minutes after the show starts, we're having a discussion with the boss after the show.
Well, probably what will happen is I will go ahead and start the show and just make fun of you
Fair.
for like a solid 10 minutes, which I can
And
do
vice
until you
versa.
get here. Yeah,
And
that's,
vice versa.
I mean, that's good. By the way, I have no problem waking up. I am
I suck at it.
I am overly chipper in the morning to the point where it's annoying to everyone. And I'm not doing it for that reason, although I do take joy that it bothers people. It's more about the drive home.
By the
The drive home hits me. I want to nod off. And that's the part that gets me.
By the time 6 a.m. rolls around, I'm good. 4:30 in the morning? Even the lady friend. Now, granted, she's still asleep. When I go say, love you, have a good day in the morning, she doesn't talk to me, mainly because if she hits me with a, I need you to today, she knows I'm going to be like, no, text me later.
4:30, I will have finished my shower and will be preparing my breakfast. At 4:35, I will be eating said breakfast because I'm regimented. That might help you. I know. If you do everything the same way every day, so there's no thought, you just do it.
Can't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:06 in the morning. You are now inside of 54 minutes away from the time that you got to clock in and you got to pretend like you care about your job. Some of you do. Some of you might like your job. I love my job. Some of y'all might too. But the majority of us, let's be real, don't. So you're looking forward to that first break. You're looking forward to walking down the hallway, meeting up with your coworkers, the ones that you like, and talking sports. And if you're going to talk sports with your coworkers, you got to know what's going on in the world of sports. And if you need to know what's going on in the world of sports, you need this.
Girl.
It is the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports. We're a little behind, so let us jump right in with item number 1. NBA playoffs continuing to roll on. 2 games yesterday evening in the Association. It began with the Cavaliers and the Celtics. It was not much of a game. 120-95 is your final with Beantown coming out on top. You got 32 out of Jaylen Brown. Derek White has been the unsung hero of these playoffs for the Celtics. He had 25 of 9 of 16 from the field, 7 of 12 from behind the arc last night. The C's shot just a tick shy of 50% from the floor, just a tick shy of 40% from the arc. On the flip side, the Cleveland Cavaliers, look, they got 33 from Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's been giving you 33 to 39 a game consistently. You go back to that last series against Orlando. He won that series for Cleveland. Unfortunately, and this is true, I've done the research, Boston's a lot better than Orlando. I like Orlando's future to the moon, but Boston's better. The series is, I'm not going to say it's over, but it's over. 120-95. Boston gets a win last night in the other game that took place, the Mavs and the Thunder, 117-95, as the 1 seed Oklahoma City puts away the Mavs. I said coming into this one, Dallas wins if Luka gets a triple-double. That's pretty much the formula for me. We can talk X's and O's, Jimmys and Joes, but at the end of the day, Dallas wins this series if and only if Luka has triple-doubles in 4 games. He did not last night. 19 points on 6 of 19 from the floor, but 1 of 8 from behind the arc. He had 6 rebounds and 9 assists to go with a couple of steals, but he also turned it over 5 times in this game, and it was very clear what the strategy was for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Disrupt Luka Doncic. We don't think that anybody else can carry this team. And look, Kyrie was 7 of 14 from the floor, 3 of 4 from the arc, 20 points, was not drawing fouls, only went to the line 3 times in this one, but he also only had 1 rebound. He only had 3 assists. He only had 2 steals, and he had 4 turnovers on the night last night. The Mavs turned it over 15 times in this game yesterday. This is another one. Now, I am not as comfortable saying that Dallas is cooked the way that I am in saying that the Cavs are cooked, but it's going to be an uphill battle. And the more that I pay attention to this Thunder team, the more I am killing the belief that they're just young and energetic, and the more I am growing in the belief that they're actually good. Not like kind of good. They're like win the West good. It's going to be, at this point, I'm not saying Denver's got no chance. I'm not saying Dallas has no chance. I am saying, if you ask me today, your Western Conference Finals, Oklahoma City versus Minnesota, and I am going to say, I don't think that I'm a Denver guy. Okay, I'm a Denver guy. I like Nikola Jokic. I like Jamal Murray. I'm a big fan. I don't think I will have looked forward to an individual series quite as much as I'm looking forward to Minnesota versus Oklahoma City. That could be a blast. Two young, gritty teams. Give it to me. Inject it in my freaking veins, man. Let us move on to item number 2. Somebody hit the handle again. You got to jiggle the handle, man. Your Stanley Cup playoffs are underway. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on game number 1, in which the Dallas Stars knocked off the Colorado Avalanche knocked off the Dallas Star, just the 1 star. They just knocked off the 1 star. The Dallas Stars last night, 4-3. Dallas opened with 3 first period goals. It was 3-0 at the end of the first frame. At the end of the second, it was 3-2 Dallas. At the end of the third, because Nathan McKinnon notched the tying goal just 40 seconds into the third period, we went to overtime, and wouldn't you know it, the Colorado Avalanche steal a win. Yet again, the Dallas Stars find a way to blow an early game lead, but that's not the game I want to talk about. It's not the game that you want to talk about. We want to talk Rangers-Canes. The Rangers, a 2-game lead over the Carolina Hurricanes, courtesy of a 4-3 double overtime win last night. There was nothing more painful than not going to overtime in hockey, but going to double OT in hockey and giving up the game winner. I don't know what to tell you. Everything I said yesterday about the Canes, everything I said they needed to do, they did not do last night. Okay? Stop giving up dumb penalties. They allowed Zibanejad to be on the ice for 7.5 minutes of power play. Do you know what happens when you give one of the top 3 power play units in the National Hockey League 7.5 minutes of power play time in a game like this? You lose. Inevitably, you lose. That's what they did. In fact, after the Canes went up on the Jake Guentzel goal with the assist from Aho and Tony DeAngelo. After they went up 3-2, we went to the third period. And wouldn't you know it, Chris Kreider scored on the power play 6 minutes into the third period. And then we went to second overtime. And what happened? Carolina, a hooking call, another dumbass penalty, and Vincent Trocheck made you pay for it, gets the helper from Mika Zibanejad, nets the game winner 4-3. The Canes in a 2-game deficit. That game 3 is going to be back in Raleigh, and it is a must win. In fact, both games in Raleigh are must win. You cannot go back to New York with the Rangers having pushed you to the brink of elimination. You have to go back to New York with a 2-2 series so that even if they win there, at least you can fight elimination back on home ice and make it a game 7. This is a problem. The Canes are playing the least good Stanley Cup hockey that I have ever seen in my life. Let's get to item number 3. I have awful news for all of you. Your Kentucky Derby winner, Mystic Dan, his stake in the Preakness Stakes, the second leg of the Triple Crown, is up in the air. Trainer Kenny McPeak and the horse's ownership would not commit to whether the colt would race in the Preakness on May 18th in Baltimore, which requires a 2-week turnaround.
All right, I can't pass this up. Mystic Dan ate last night, or yesterday. So
that was my big
so we're good.
punchline, Lonzo.
I stole it. You wrote it in the thing.
I
so
know. That was my big punchline.
I thought you were going to skip it. All right.
I was going to build this whole thing up about how this is like devastating news, and I was all in, and then I was going to go, but ladies and gentlemen, there's incredible news. In fact, in one of the most heroic feats that I have ever seen a horse do, in a moment of uncertainty, in a moment where we wondered if Mystic Dan might make history, Mystic Dan did one of the most brave, courageous things that I have ever seen one of these professional athletes do in my lifetime last night as he prepared to prove that he's ready for the Preakness Stakes. Last night, Mystic Dan ate dinner. Wow.
All right. Going on 4 years together, I think that's the first time I really stole a punchline. And I just, you probably shouldn't have wrote it in the thing. I would never have seen it.
I was setting you up for the comedy gold, but then I realized as I started the segment, I'm like, that's too good of a punchline not to put as 3 on the cheat sheet.
I just look at my face on the stream. By the way, YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook. I am.
He's red. He's
I am red.
Now.
I feel really bad about that.
Right now.
I do.
It's all good.
It's one of those where I just like, should I do this? And then it's like, and I'm also trying to take care of something else.
The build up to that punchline was going to be incredible.
Oh man, I'm done for the day. I can't. No, because I'm gonna feel bad about that all day. I really am.
You need to calm down.
Your way would have been definitely funnier, and I apologize to not only Rob Brown but Fan Upstate, Odyssey,
I think you've
the upstate of South Carolina.
I'll tell you what, great one. Make it up to me. Win us a trophy in August. What do you say? We'll call it even.
I don't know.
You good on that?
I'm not real.
Win us another trophy. We'll make it even.
I don't know. I'm doing it. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the bravest thing I've ever seen a horse do, Mystic Dan ate dinner last night. That's just championship level performance. That is peak athletic performance from Mystic Dan. That horse had the courage, the bravery, the stones to dig down deep in a moment of competitive disadvantage. With history on the line, Mystic Dan knew exactly what needed to be done. He knew exactly where he needed to go in order to place his name into the annals of history, in order to rewrite the record books, in order to make sure that we echo the name Mystic Dan into history. He ate dinner!
America.
God, I hate horse racing so much. I hate it so damn much, dude. I'm sorry if you're a horse racing guy. My man Mark Shelley texted me yesterday. He's like, you got to stop the horse racing hate. No, I don't. I can't stand it. And this is why. This is why. The biggest story in your sport, and I'm air quoting so hard, I think I just strained my right middle finger. The biggest story in your sport is that a horse ate dinner. That's your story. That's your news headline. Horse eats dinner.
I know I said I quit, but apparently I didn't. Why is this a story that he ate?
No.
Has he not been eating? Is he, does he have some sort of disorder and they finally got him to eat?
Is the horse battling bulimia?
Yeah.
Is this a horse eating disorder?
Yeah, I'm very curious.
Oh man. Y'all spend 360 days not giving a damn about horse racing. And then you spend 5 days convincing me that this is the biggest sporting event in America. And then 3 days later, the biggest story in your sport is that a horse ate dinner. I don't know if you know this. Horses eat. They eat all the time. The whole thing about horses is you give them food to make them better horses. And the biggest story is he ate dinner. That was a headline on a major sports news outlet this morning. To the fact that I read it and I'm like, somebody got pranked. Happy April Fool's Day in May. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. I'll tell you what. Took 4 years. For the record, I don't care. It still worked out to be funny.
No, but it's still it really legitimately bothered me. Obviously,
it doesn't matter.
I hesitated for a moment. I should have listened to my hesitation. I didn't, and that's the result.
It really does not matter. It still worked out to be good.
I'm leaving camera now. A lot of talk lately about people talking when they shouldn't talk, and things like that, and that's the first thing that went through my mind. Like, I just did that. It's over.
You know, if Lonzo, if you screw up like that again, I've obviously got a replacement waiting in the wings. Give me 45 seconds, guys. We'll be ready. All right, we back.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it.
Should have went and got Chris and had him come in here and act like he's producing.
Lonzo's been suspended without pay.
Where's my downloads folder?
He takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model.
Where did I put that?
Pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization.
Rod Brindamore, nonetheless. Coming up later. He's no problem, press. Thursday. What's his smile? I like that. I like that. What's his smile? Good morning. Good morning.
Did I not save it? I'm not going to play it off the page.
Take control of your listening experience with Rewind on the Odyssey app. Missed a jaw-dropping moment? No worries.
Odyssey app makes it easy.
With Rewind, you can relive big moments from Rob Brown, Jim Rome, and more. Don't miss a
Conference coming. Bunch of loving. The Fan Upstate.
sports and the keeper of all things cool in the sports.
Continuing on, it is the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate. I'm going to go a little back in time here because this discussion keeps popping up. And you know me. If there's one thing that you can say about Rob Brown, it is I am the voice of optimism on this station and across this state.
It's the thing around the building. You know, when someone's feeling down, it's usually, hey, man, go talk to Rob.
Yep.
You'll feel better after that.
There is nothing in the world I am better at than getting you out of a funk. I am just the king of optimism. There's no such thing as hunting for a silver lining, my friends. The clouds are all silver. There's no clouds at all. There's no silver lining. It's all silver. So let me do just that. I got to tell you, I'm struggling right now, great one, because there's like a billion podcasts to listen to. I am overwhelmed with the number of everybody's got a podcast. And there are a few I very much like.
By the way, download our podcast.
Absolutely. Please and thank you. Go to thefanupstate.com. In the middle of the page, there's a button that says podcast. Click on it, drop it down to the Rob Brown Show, and you can download every single hour of the show within minutes of its conclusion, by the way. You can download every hour of the show. So if you can't be with us from 6 to 10, you can listen to us at any other point in the day that you wish on demand at thefanupstate.com. But I also know there's other podcasts out there you want to listen to. We've gotten big on the New Heights podcast with the Kelsey Bros, primarily Jason, but also Trav's there. I have gotten into the JJ Redick LeBron James podcast a little bit, not as much as some of the other ones, but I enjoy listening to them because they actually talk ball. They talk X's and O's, and I love that. I'm a dork.
I love listening to Busted Open just because Bully Ray, formerly Bubba Ray, he and I agree on a lot of things wrestling wise. And when you have an opinion and you hear someone else has your same opinion and they're like famous. And,
we all like validation.
Yeah. It makes you feel better about yourself for sure.
We all have, like, there's so many podcasts. One of the ones that has crept onto my radar as of late, and I didn't think I was going to like it all that much, although I am a fan of the guy, is Cam Newton's podcast. Cam has popped up on my radar as of late. Well, on one of the most recent episodes of Cam Newton's podcast, Cam addressed the bar and restaurant incident of David Tepper. At this point, I'm assuming all of you have heard the story, but in case you haven't, quick recap.
Okay, I was worried you were going to talk about the bar and restaurant incident of Ric Flair, which we're going to talk about tomorrow.
I have no doubt we are. I have a Rick. You gotta chill, dog. Rick, relax, bro. Anyway.
Must be a North Carolina type of thing.
Panthers owner David Tepper stopped very randomly at Dilworth Neighborhood Grill because Dilworth Neighborhood Grill put up a sign outside. The sign, which I think was, let's say, appropriate, displayed the message, please let the coach and GM pick this year. Now, I cannot say with any level of certainty that David and Nicole were making the draft picks the last couple of years. I can't say that for sure. What I can say is the reputation is there. And I think there's enough smoke to say there's a fire that Dave and Nicole have been way too involved in the football operations, which is why if you've listened to this show for the last, 4 years, you have heard me say relentlessly, let football dudes do football things. Is my favorite phrase. Let football people do football things. Let owner people do owner things. Dave and Nicole, you focus on making it a profitable franchise for yourselves. You focus on making as much money as you can so you can keep your little island getaways and let the football people make the football decisions. Will ya? So because that has kind of become the reputation of the Teppers, this sign kind of makes a run. And it is, what's the word I'm looking for here? A joke. There's a bar down the street from me that very frequently puts signs up on their front marquee that are like pop culture references or whatever. There's a veterinary clinic right down the road from me that has a sign up right now that says, do you know why dinosaurs went extinct? Because they didn't go to the vet. Ha 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 ha. It's a veterinary office. It's a joke.
It's pretty accurate, probably.
Probably. And also a massive asteroid. But like the vet thing's probably there too. So I took it as a joke. Well, Cam on his podcast entitled 4th and 1 with Cam Newton, Cam talked about this. And I'm not going to play the audio great one because I haven't had the chance to screen it yet. And I just don't know.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
I've heard bits and pieces of other ones. And I think they let things fly a little bit.
Yeah. So Cam went off on this thing and he said, look, if I responded to every person who said something about me, that's how you lose a fan base. And then he went on to challenge David Tepper to go this whole season without getting in trouble. Now, there's two different angles to this. Number one, the incident itself. Regarding the incident itself, I'm actually not super concerned about it. I'm really not. I'm not super concerned about it. And I'm not super concerned about it because I do think, and I've said this before, I do think it was David Tepper kind of trying to be out and about amongst the fans as an everyman. This was a good opportunity to go into a bar because that's where normal people hang out, right? At bars, that's what you peons do, right? And I think he thought, this is where the normals gather. Let me go in there and let me just be one of them for a minute. Unfortunately, Dave Tepper is a billionaire disassociated with society at large. I don't think Dave Tepper has any damn idea how to actually communicate with not billionaires. So I think Dave Tepper went in there thinking, I'm just going to make a little ha-ha with the regular folk. And then it was just off-putting because that's not a thing you do, man. It's a very left-hand departure from who you are, or at least who you've been since you bought this team. I'm actually forgiving Dave Tepper for this one. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because, as I pointed out on the show, since the introduction of Dave Canellis as the head coach, since the introduction of Dan Morgan as the general manager, this is the only incident we have heard David Tepper's name. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but I think it's the only time we've heard Tep's name since that introduction was this incident.
Yeah, I'm racking my brain. I can't think of any other one.
So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think Tep went in there thinking this is where the commoners hang. So I'm going to go in there and just like yuck it up and try to be one of them. But because he's an out-of-touch billionaire who does not understand how to talk to people who hang out at bars on weekdays, like me, it just kind of got out of hand. But let me talk about the other angle real quick because we're a little bit late here. The other angle is this. Cam Newton. Lonzo, do you think that Cam Newton is a bit of an ambassador between the fans and the Panthers? Because I do. Despite the fact that there's a large swath of Panther fans who will not like Cam Newton, I think he's kind of an ambassador for the fans. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe an ambassador for the fans to the team.
See, I don't know any Panther fans who didn't like Cam Newton.
You don't know personally, but I know for a fact when we've talked about him in days gone by, I get texts from people that go, I wish that guy would shut up. I wish he'd take his dumb hats and disappear, yada, yada, yada.
Well, there were always childish, that's
100%.
It's like, shut up. He's playing a kid's game.
Yeah, but I would say by and large, the majority of Panther fans have a soft spot for Cam Newton. And so therefore, to me, Cam Newton is kind of a representative, as are Lonzo and I, obviously, of Panthers fans that can speak to the ownership, to the management of that football program. And so when Cam is out here saying, this is how you lose a fan base, when Cam is out here saying, this is how you don't communicate, this is how you don't handle your business, you take a moment that if Dave Tepper had any sort, by the way, Dave Tepper, if you want to hire me to come be your PR guy, I could have fixed this problem the minute that it happened. I could have had a press release out in 5 minutes that fixed this problem. Hire me to be your PR guy. I'll come to Charlotte right now. I'll still do the show, but I'll come to Charlotte and be your PR guy. I could have fixed this, no problem. But if Cam Newton's out here saying this, if he's out here still calling out Dave Tepper, then you are less likely to have people like me successfully defend an incident like this, and it makes it more necessary for Dave Tepper to go away, or as Rashad Beer likes to say, to step back. And I think it's necessary. When we come back in a minute, yesterday on the show, I had a response to a promo that Cole Bryson was running. He had a response to me yesterday. We're going to play a little hold up with what Cole Bryson had to say, and it's going to be me versus every one of my coworkers next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, give me 10 seconds, guys. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, dudes, we're back.
Jim Cam.
Oh, the humanity. We'll discuss as we take a bite out of history with Eagles Markets. It was a 3-day trip from Frankfurt, Germany to Lakehurst, New Jersey on the Hindenburg-class airship. It was contracted by American Airlines, and this trip on May 3rd, 1937 was the launch of its second season. It was nothing but first-class elegance in the sky. A white-cloth dining room, lounge, an observation deck.
Yeah, I'm not a psychologist. I just know Dave Tepper, regardless of the reason why, as Tay-Tay would say, needs to calm down.
Spring is here, and there's no better way to get on the course than with the Upstate Golf Card for just $80. You'll get access to premier Upstate courses like the Preserve and Verde, Carolina Springs, Greer Golf, The Rock, Rolling Greens, Iso Tryon, and more. Grab your foursome and hit the course with the Upstate Golf Card. Order yours today at upstategolfcard.com. 7 rounds of golf for only $80.
Despite working late, I still got on a treadmill yesterday.
Oh, baby.
My leg is still functioning.
Picture this. It's Friday afternoon when a thought hits you. I can spend another weekend doing the same old whatever, or I can hop into my
Still can't get past a half hour, but I'm not pushing it.
With available H-Track all-wheel drive and 3-row seating, my whole family can head deep into the wild.
According to what I was told by experts, that the first 20 minutes is just a warm up. Everything after that burns fat. So I could get back to an hour. Since I've been walking, I put on 2 more pounds. So it's not helping yet. So there's that.
No, I got told once, walking builds leg muscle. So building leg muscle, you can still be burning fat and lose and gain weight.
I know. I'm not going to get any results for a while.
So yesterday on the show, I responded to a promo that Cole Bryson has running because they are our sister show. We all work for the same station.
No. They're a brother show. Come on.
Brother.
Would you want to be referred to as a sister show? Yeah, I can't even do sister station. Well, I could there's certain stations, sister stations, but I'm not going to call the planet my sister station. That's a brother station.
I will,
Come
just
on.
because I feel like it would bother Diesel.
Yeah, all right,
Anyway,
good.
our brother show, Wire to Wire, Cole Bryson and Diesel. And for the record, love the fellas. Love the fellas, love the show. Listen literally every day. Big fan. Genuinely.
I am jealous of Diesel's beard.
And also Diesel has the best beard in the building, for sure.
It's unnerving when someone has something that magnificent.
It's tough.
And you can't do it.
It's tough. So I responded to a promo in which Cole Bryson says that we should no longer use the word committed when it comes to college athletes because they're not committed anymore. My response was, you're kind of demonizing the kids a little bit. You're kind of making them sound bad intentionally in order to push a thing that you don't like about the system. And my point was, I heartily suspect that Cole has never gone after a coach who switched teams, or Cole never went after a school that allowed players to be gray-shirted, removed from a scholarship so they could open that scholarship for someone else. This isn't something that anybody complained about when it was the schools doing it to the kids or the coaches leaving a school to go elsewhere for more money. It only became a problem when the players started doing it. Well, yesterday on Wire to Wire with Cole Bryson and Diesel, Cole responded to my response to him. I feel like we're a couple of YouTubers now. But hey, content, baby. Content.
Are we about to kick this up into to the rap game? We're gonna get some diss tracks.
Who's Kendrick? Who's Drake? I feel like I'm Kendrick.
I wouldn't know Kendrick Lamar if he walked in the room. I would know Drake because the dislike of all Canadians.
Fair enough.
So
I'm not your buddy,
it's all your
guy.
fault, Brian
Not your
Adams.
guy, pal. Anyway, we're going to play a little game we like to call Hole Up. Now, they went on for a couple of minutes here. So instead of having to play a long diatribe from CB in the D Train, we're going to break it up. By playing a game we call Hold Up, the game is very simple. We're going to play the clip, and any time that Lonzo or I want to respond, we'll say, hold up. We'll stop the audio. We'll respond in time, and then once we're done, we'll pick it back up. Here is their segment from yesterday in a game we call Hole Up. He said before remembering that his computer was muted and then unmuting it and starting that segment again.
Well, guess what? Look, Rob Brown, love you, but you're wrong.
Hold up. No, I'm not. Keep going.
They do
You didn't
lack
say heart hands
commitment.
emoji.
You didn't say heart hands emoji. And anytime you say
All right, hold
love
up. I think
I did say hard hands emoji, by the way.
I do. I think he's uncomfortable saying that he loves you. So I'm not feeling it.
Okay.
That's probably the only disagreement I'm going to have with them the entire time.
And for the record, Cole and I actually had a phone call about this yesterday. Like he called me. Well, actually, I lied. I called him and I was like, hey, this is just like banter. He's like, yeah, for sure. Like we're boys. No worries. But I just wanted to make sure. So I said hard hands emoji.
Yeah,
but he actually addressed that.
We've never had problems with anybody here with that sort of thing. So, just
always wonderful
because we're all about team.
Yeah.
But that's like saying, hey, don't take offense to this, but, you're an idiot. Hey, I love you, but.
All right, hold up.
So,
which is just like saying, let me be honest.
Or no disrespect, but.
Yes.
He's not entirely wrong. I do think his take is bad, but he thinks mine is bad too. So we're good.
Rob, you're wrong. Let me tell you why you're wrong. And I want to hear why Diesel says you're wrong as well. You're saying that because the system allows it, we can't blame the kids. Well, guess what? Newsflash. There's a lot of things in this world and society that's allowed. Does that make it right?
Okay, hold up. My point was not the system that did it. My point was that y'all never complained about this being a problem when the school did it, when coaches did it, when gray shirts were a thing. That was never a thing you complained about. It is only a complaint now because it directly impacts you on a Saturday. You don't have a problem in the past when schools pulled scholarship. And again, I will acknowledge there were not obviously nearly as many gray shirts as the 3,500 kids that went into the portal. I agree with that.
Not nearly.
Not even in the ball.
I was going to say, come on.
But there were a lot of them, and it was never an issue. It was always, oh, well, what are you going to do? You know, you got to get better. And when coaches leave, you might be upset when your coach bails on your school to move. But when a coach leaves a school for a $10 million paycheck increase somewhere else, none of y'all ever go, that's messed up. He signed a contract. He signed a contract with that school. Why doesn't he honor that? None of y'all ever said that.
Rashad Beard on line 3 to tell you that you actually looked to see if he was there to tell you that.
I was like, really?
To tell you that you're wrong.
I mean, okay. The overwhelming.
You said no one, and he's the first person I thought of when you said that.
The
hater mode
overwhelming
activated.
Majority of you. The overwhelming majority of you.
Certified hater mode.
Have never complained about it. That's my problem.
So, no. A lot of things are allowed. You want me to create a list? Do you want me to come up with a list of 100 things, 50 things in society that are allowed?
Okay, hold up. Here's my other problem with this. That's subjective. That's a subjective argument. See, because there are things in your life that are allowed that you think are bad that I don't, and vice versa, right? I'll give you the first example that came to my head because I'm an absolute degenerate. Pornography. For a overwhelming, I'm not even going to put numbers on it. I'm just going to say, subjectively speaking, for a lot of people, pornography is an absolute no-go. It should be banned from existence. It should not be allowed. And then there are other people out there for whom pornography is a healthy part of their sex life. It is part of their relationship by themselves or with their significant other. It's a healthy part of their life. So the whole concept of system is bad and we allow... That is entirely subjective. And that's a lot of where this comes from. I don't have an issue with a kid saying, I'm not getting what I wanted out of this school, whether it is money or education or coaching or development or whatever. You might, but that is subjective. And you don't get, or in my case, shouldn't. You should not be passing judgment on other people because they do a thing that you don't like.
But are still wrong? Because I can come up with a list. Just because it's allowed doesn't mean it's right, okay? Just because you think something is allowed, yeah, the system is flawed. In the promo, in the 30-second promo, I didn't have enough time to expound on the system being flawed. I agree with you. The system is flawed. But just because the system's flawed doesn't mean we can't blame the players. We can...
Hold up. Why would you blame the players? Why would you blame players for taking advantage of a system that is put in place that they do not have control over? It's not their decision. You asked if the players wanted it. They now have the opportunity. My point is this. In all these conversations, it's always the players that are the bad guys. It's always the players that are the bad guys, and that's where you lose me.
All right. You absolutely can blame the players. If you just up and quit and leave, I'm not blaming you. I'm going to blame you because my life is now different. I'm going to have to adjust. There's going to be another host coming in. I'm going to have to deal with someone else in the office. I'm going to blame you for just quitting. And that's what they're doing. They're quitting and they're going somewhere else. It is the equivalent of someone quitting their job and going to another job. As you pointed out, they should be able to do. But there's going to be people that affects that they left behind.
I don't disagree. But do you see you're kind of echoing what I've already said, which is when this has been the thing, for everybody but the players in the past, never complained. It wasn't until it impacted you, and I'm using the royal you, not you specifically, but the royal you on Saturdays. It wasn't until it had direct impact on your life. And now all of a sudden we got all these strong feelings about it.
And by the way, a coach up and leaving does affect you as a fan, and it does make people mad when they do that.
Correct. But that's why I said a minute ago, you might get upset when your coach bails for a pay raise somewhere else, but none of y'all cared when Mike Norvell left Memphis to go to Florida State, did you? No, of course you did not. You cared when Brent Venables left Clemson to go to Oklahoma. Then you cared, but you didn't care when Norvell jumped schools, right? Why have we always been okay with that? But now that it impacts your team more directly and more frequently, now it's
but here's the thing. It affects almost every team, not just my team or your team or their team. You talked about 3,500 people being in the portal. That's a lot of athletes being in the portal. And the fact that well, I know you've said it before, well, that's your job, coach, figure it out. But when you think, again, here, we've got a lineup, we believe the lineup's going to be a certain thing, and then someone decides, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Hey, if I get an offer for $1 million tomorrow and I leave, am I an a-hole?
Yeah, you've been talking about leaving since you've been here. So, but I was being specific about a person. We recently had a lineup shakeup because someone decided to go somewhere else.
And for the record, good on him. He got that bag.
But how much did it affect us here? It affected
dramatically.
Yeah, it did. It did.
But does that make him a bad guy for taking the job? No, it does not.
Certainly blame both. We can certainly blame the system. We can certainly blame the players. Again, me and Diesel say it all the time. Two things can be true. You can blame the players. You can also blame the system. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Just because it's allowed doesn't make it right.
Speaking of one or the other, Cole, are they kids or are they adults?
For the record, hold up. I actually really like this from Diesel. And I honestly, he said this, and I'm like, oh, that's me.
Why are you taking sides? You taking sides because he's your.
No.
I'm
not taking sides.
He's your ex-producer.
I'm taking
and
sides
it's
because
like,
he makes it. Listen to the point.
So
Listen to the
you're
argument.
going at Cole, and you're taking.
No, I'm
okay,
not.
fine.
Listen to the argument.
We flip-flop back and forth on this based on what suits our argument at the time. When they're making silly decisions because they're 18, 19, 20 years old, they're kids. Sure. But when they're cashing $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 checks, signing big deals with Dr. Pepper and whoever, now they're adults. So what are they? Are they kids who should be treated like kids with all the trappings and mistakes of being a kid? Or are they adults who think for themselves, who can make intelligent decisions
Hold up. I like this argument because he's got me. He's absolutely right. On one hand, I say what? You go into the portal, you don't get a job? Hey, adult decisions come with the adult consequences. On the flip side, I am sitting here telling Cole, stop denigrating the kids. Stop demonizing the kids because they're just doing what everybody else can do. To me, the answer is kind of a little bit of both. They're 18. On one hand, old enough to join the military and go off to school or go off to war. On the other hand, not old enough to buy a beer. We literally in the society treat an 18, 19-year-old kid as both a kid and adult at the same time. And it's a transition period. So I am going to give them a little bit of defense when people start calling them names and saying that they are quitters and lack commitment. Again, as I said yesterday, and we're going to run out of time, I won't be able to finish up the clip, but later on, Cole points out that he thinks my analogy about a bad relationship is flawed. No, it's not. You just don't like it because it's spot on. If you are committed to a thing and then that thing is not returning the commitment, you're a chump. End of story. If I am in a committed relationship with a woman and then that woman goes off and bangs another dude one night, I should not be committed to that woman anymore. Does that make me a quitter? If I come and say, hey, my person cheated on me last night and I left her, are you going to go, you quitter? Or if I come to you and I say, hey, I just got an offer to go work somewhere else for $1 million a year and I'm leaving to take that job, are you going to go, you quitter? No.
All right. I always have trouble with romantic analogies because it's comparing romance to business. And I just, and there's one thing that Cole and Diesel don't understand that you understand and I understand, and that's because you're almost 40 is being old. So everyone's becoming a kid to you now. So I don't think you necessarily mean it as a kid. You mean get off my lawn.
No, I don't. You've got a son. Your son was 18 at one point.
Was
he an adult or was he a kid?
A long time ago. As soon as he hit 18, he was an adult.
Did you treat him as solely an adult? You were like, you're on your own, kid. Good luck. See you down the road. No, I know for a fact that you didn't because you're better than that. 18, 19, 20 is a transition period from childhood into adulthood, in my ever so humble opinion. And so to say, I'm not going to let you sit here and demonize kids, like call them quit. And let me clear up that word. When I'm talking about, you are using the words quitters. They don't have commitment. No, what you're saying is they're not doing it the way I want them to do it. Therefore, it's bad. No. That's not how life works. Someone not doing it the way that you want it done is not inherently bad. It's subjectively bad to you, but to go out and call that person names and say that they lack character, which is what you are doing in that promo, to say they lack character because they don't do it your way, that's bad.
All right. So it's basically the NFL light now. Anyway, they need to start signing contracts, and when they decide to leave and go somewhere else, they need to give some money back. That takes care of all of it. I mean, they're adults. They're over 18.
Why is it not on the company?
If they had a signing, but well, it's according to whatever their
There's no
incentives
such thing
are.
as a signing bonus.
Well, there will be when they finally go the way they're going and make it the NFL light.
And in that case, we'll talk about that then. But today, that's not how it is. So don't tell me kids are quitters that lack commitment because this is what might happen in a couple of years. No. Right now, this is what they are. They are guys who have an opportunity, and they are living their life the same way that you or me do. Is Cole a bad guy for stepping into the role that he stepped into and leaving whatever behind he did to take this job? No.
He didn't leave anything behind. But anyway, it's a different circumstance. But I don't see you jumping from job to job in the middle of a year. I don't see you doing that. Maybe you did it when you were younger, but you're not doing that now. You're coming up on a lot of years here.
For the record, absolutely have done it. I worked for a talk radio station down in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, and one day, out of the blue, I got a call from the Okaloosa County Commission saying, we need a new public information officer. And I said, what does it pay? And they told me, and it was twice what I was making at the radio station, literally $2 to $1. And I walked down the hall to my boss, and I said, I want you to know, I appreciate the time. I appreciate the opportunity. I know that I'm not going to be able to broadcast again because I have a non-compete in my contract, so I can't broadcast here for 2 years. But I have to take that job. It's best for me and my family. And do you know what my boss at the radio station said? It's a hell of an opportunity. Congratulations. He didn't go, you quitter. You lack commitment. You lack character. He went, that's a damn good opportunity.
Maybe
and you're an idiot if you don't take it.
Maybe you recognize you didn't belong there. I mean, that could have been it. that could have been it. Leave, you pretender. Go to the bank.
Sports Flash.
Yeah, I'm not making it out of here today. I'm not. The Thunder ran away from the Mavericks last night with a 117-95 win as Luka Doncic was swarmed by the Oklahoma City defense. Doncic scored 19 points of 6 on 6 of 19 and only 1 of 8 from deep. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander put down 29, including 11 from the stripe late, and the Thunder out-rebounded Dallas by double figures. Boston holds a 1-0 series lead over Cleveland after a blowout 120-95 victory. Donovan Mitchell scored 33 in a losing effort for Cleveland, but the Cavs shot only 26% from deep, and that's probably not going to win you a game. Hey, tune in to the much talked about Wire to Wire show today. Cole and Diesel, 3 to 7 p.m. to get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate. And you know what? It's a whole lot of fun, and it's all Wire to Wire. Oh, that's my new favorite thing. It looks like the 85 stall is late today. It requires a little thought. Bill Brooks is awesome. No, Stephen, I'm doing poorly out of guilt. That's why, because I stole a punchline earlier and I feel bad about it.
For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
I'm Bopper, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts.
It's a good point, Trey.
Family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC part solution company that's grown into an international brand.
But if you win, you're a wiener.
You're a wiener.
I mean, depending on how you pronounce the word. Mario when?
9 o'clock.
Okay.
Our new technology platform developed by AmericanEagle.com has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would.
So how can I make Damian Priest mad at Rob so he just glares at him for the entire interview?
The first 5 minutes of those interviews are always interesting because you spend that much time trying to figure out, are we in character, or are we out? And for the record, somebody asked me when we talked about this yesterday, why don't you just ask them?
Where's the fun in
Because it's
that?
not as much fun.
Yeah.
I like being able to play along one way or the other.
Yeah. See if you can fill it out and figure it out. Yeah. QC in the next break.
10-4. Steven said, man, I didn't know I needed Rob versus Cole beef, but here I am, low-key entertained. Listen, for the record, as I said, I love Cole. I'm glad Cole is here. Cole brings another dimension to the stadium, to the station that I'm glad that we have. But we disagree. And we should be able to have fun like this. To me, this is engaging. This is fun. I like being able to have somebody like Cole that we can go back and forth with and have a beer afterwards and enjoy it, as opposed to somebody that's like, keep my name out your mouth. No, man, it's fun.
That never happens around here.
It's fun, and I like it, and I'm glad we do. Let's see. Steven says, I would say Cole and Rob could talk wrestling, but you know what? I actually don't know where Cole stands on wrestling.
He's not a fan.
Not a guy?
He
went to WrestleMania.
Yeah. Just because he was there and to make fun of it. So his troll game is he was sending me pictures constantly.
He can say what he wants. He was entertained.
Yeah, he was. And I'm looking and he posted some videos and stuff about of pyro and things, and got Bobby Lashley's number, and it's so he could get him as a guest.
He can say what he wants.
Yeah.
He was entertained. So let's see. Trey said, if you lie, you're a liar. If you steal, you're a thief. If you quit, you're a quitter. How's that calling someone a name? Here's why I have a problem with it. You are correct. If you quit, you're a quitter. I don't disagree. But is there not a difference between moving on from where you are to a fresh opportunity? And keep in mind, one of the rules that is in place right now, and it is one of the rules that no one is pushing back against, or at least not enough people that they even register as a discussion point. No one is pushing against the rule that says you cannot transfer schools in season. Can't do it. Now, you can leave the team and you can not play, but you can't just, I'm transferring today in week 7.
Why are you not throwing a yet out there? So you don't believe that'll ever change?
No, I don't. And I don't have any reason to. It is, in fact, one of the only transfer portal rules that I'm aware of that there's not even a discussion about right now. They put out, remember, it wasn't too long ago that we were having, it was like weeks ago that we had a new set of transfer rules that came out. One of which is undergraduate transfers can now transfer as many times as they wish. You can play at a different school for 4 straight years if you want to, okay? One of the things that was a direct mention in that rules change was you can't transfer in season. And I sincerely, tell me any person that you heard anywhere, locally, regionally, nationally, on a blog that you read, Name me one person who came out and said we should do away with that rule. That rule's bad.
All right, just because it hasn't
not
been said doesn't mean it won't eventually. Because I, like you, and I know you do the same thing. Except maybe I take it one step further. I try to think worst case scenario all the way down the line. And that's opening that up. And worst case scenario is having a window in season that you can transfer to where a team can go, oh, we're one player away, like free agency, and bring a player in the middle of the season.
Yes, but once again, you cannot. No, you should not. Let's be clear. You can do whatever you want. It's America. You should not cast aspersions, denigrate other people based on what you think is a maybe bad possibility that could come down the line. That's a bad way to live your life. It is, I am being open and honest when I tell you, it is a possibility that somebody calls me and goes, Rob, we want to pay you $1 million a year to come host the national show. And I'm going to come in here the next day and say, Lonzo, I love you. You're one of my favorite people I've ever worked with. And I'll see you when I come visit because I'm going to have a lot of extra money to do so now. And you can look me in the face and go, you son of a biscuit, quitting loser. And I'm going to go, well, that sucks. Bye. Right? Does that make me a quitter? No.
Well,
it means I have a big opportunity.
I think, you know, by the definition of the word, yeah, you will have just quit this job.
I will be a quitter.
Yes.
Here's the problem. When you say it that way, we know what
you've been prepping us for 4 years. When that call comes, we know you're going.
What
So I mean, you notice he didn't say, "Hey, Lonzo, do you want to go with me?" And in fairness, he knows I'll say no, but you know, just being asked would be nice. You know,
the point here is when I feel as if I've been to therapy. One of the things you're supposed to do is speak in I statements. I feel, I think, I believe, and that way you are localizing your emotions. And you're also allowing people a window in to see how you feel so that they can react the way that they feel, as opposed to saying, this is how it is. I feel as if. So I feel,
can we get off the couch yet?
No.
Okay.
No, we got to stay up for a while, and that's a tie ball game at one apiece. I feel as if when that word is used, has anybody ever called someone a quitter in a positive way? No. No, you haven't.
Stop smoking. Way to
and
quit.
What do you ever go, you stop smoking, you quitter? No.
I bet there's some people who are used to that guy hanging around with them and they're like uber macho guys. Yeah, he's a quitter. He ain't down here anymore.
You know who calls someone who smokes a quitter?
A loser.
No, someone else who smokes and can't quit.
Right. That's what
Oh, you quitter. And how do they mean it? Negatively. They mean it negatively. The only time anyone uses the word quitter is when they mean it negatively. No one's ever said the word quitter in a positive way. I'm so proud of that quitter. Even that's sarcastic as hell. And you know it. If you ever heard me say, look at that quitter, I'm so proud of that quitter, you'd be like, all right, smart ass, we get it. You're taking that guy down a peg. You're kicking the legs out. Yeah, of course. No one's ever done it. So my point here is, even when you use it that way, and Trey, you are right. If you quit, you are a quitter by the definition of the word. Because Diesel went on a big rant about how I can't change the definition of words. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not saying.
Have you read the Urban Dictionary?
Yeah, we changed it.
Yeah, I mean, the definition of words change.
Lizzie back up right
change now. All the. Please don't. Why I did that? That's my fault.
In the formal use of the word, you are correct. Except for you're kind of not. Because remember, scholarships are 1-year deals. You re-sign a scholarship. Technically, a scholarship's a 1-year deal. So if I play,
didn't they used to have 4-year deals?
I'm sure
back in the day. Yeah.
But scholarships are 1-year deals. Most of them. I'm sure there are 4 years, but most scholarships are 1-year deals. And if you have a 1-year deal and you go through your year as a scholarship player, your contract's up. Just like if I get that $1 million a year job here, if it is feasibly possible, I would try to work out the end of my contract here, right?
Well, do you guys do multi-year contracts or 1-year contract?
Yep.
I'm not a contract. I'm just a regular employee, so I don't know.
I work on a 2-year contract. So if it is possible I would ask the new employer, is it possible for me to finish up my contract here? Now, if I just signed it and it's 2 years out, probably not. In which case, I will have to be a quitter. And you can all call me a quitter, but I've moved on to better opportunities. And I feel like the overwhelming majority, not all of you, many of you will be like, oh, thank God he's gone. Thank God he's gone. But a lot of y'all will be like, congratulations. That's a huge step. Way to go. Good on you, right? And so, some of you might go, you quitter, you absolute loser, you dork. How dare you? The audacity of you. And I would get that too. But it'd be an opportunity. But like I said, no one's ever used it. And this is Trey, to answer to respond to you. No one's ever used the word quitter in a positive way. Nobody's ever said that guy's a quitter and like applauded afterwards. It's always you're a quitter in a negative way. And my point has been, I just think that there is something that doesn't sit right with me. To call an 18 or a 19-year-old, I'll use the word person to make Diesel happy. I'll use the word person so that I don't have to say kid or adult. We'll just say person. An 18 or a 19-year-old.
How very 2024 of you.
Oh, I'm woke, baby. To call a 2024 person a quitter, or saying that they lack character because they have a better opportunity and they elect to pursue it. Commitment is a two-way street. And Cole went on to say that these schools don't commit to the kids is wrong. No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. What I said is, just like when Coach X commits to a recruiting class, and then another school calls him and goes, hey, our guy quit, our guy fired, our got fired, our guy retired, whatever. We need a new guy. Kalen DeBoer down at Alabama right now. Kalen DeBoer just took the opportunity of a lifetime, my guy, to go down to Alabama and be the guy that follows the guy. Kalen DeBoer was committed to Washington, wasn't he? He was under a contract. Yes, he was. Kalen DeBoer committed to those kids who were in his last recruiting class, didn't he? Yes, he did. Yet, it is hilarious to me that when Kalen DeBoer left Washington, literally a month after taking them to a national championship game, when Kalen DeBoer left Washington, Cole, did you call him a quitter? Did you say he lacked character? Did you say that he broke a commitment and that's bad? That societally you have an issue with him? I don't think you did, man. I could be wrong. Maybe you did. And if you tell me you did, I'll believe you. But I doubt it. I doubt you popped up a podcast saying Caleb DeBoer broke his commitment. He lacks character. Caleb DeBoer broke a contract. He's a quitter. I doubt it. Yet somehow the college kids are lacking of character and quitters. Do you see my point? Literally the biggest school in the biggest football program in the country, the University of Alabama, just took a coach from a school who was recruiting kids to the day he left that school. He was on the recruiting trail when he got the call to go to Bama, which means he was signing kids to this year's football class, committing to be their head coach, and then he bailed. And I am willing to bet, and I know I can do this for Diesel. I'm not going to because I'm lazy, but I'll let him respond to this one. Diesel, you were on the air when this happened. You were hosting a show when this happened. Did you say anything about Caleb DeBoer? Did you call him a quitter? Did you say he lacked character? Did you say that he was a person who lacks the ability to finish commitment? I don't think you did. And I'll acknowledge I don't listen to all 4 hours of Diesel show every single day. I listen to 30 minutes to an hour and a half every day.
You just listen to the part of the show that's Cole, not that. That's what.
No, I do. I listen to,
right.
I mean, they're on together.
Yeah.
I listen to the whole show.
If you were doing a show, not this show, but another show where you got a producer, everything's running smoothly, everything's really good, then he's gone. You got another one.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to struggle for another couple months to try to figure everything out. You get him, then he's gone, you get another one. Wouldn't that get frustrating to you after a while? Yes. And that's what the college coaches are having to deal with. Employees keep leaving without finishing out their verbal agreement.
That is incorrect.
They do.
Verbally agree to a 1-year contract and they cannot leave till it's over.
We don't know what they say when they sign. If they say, "Hey,
then
are you going to be here all 4 years?"
Then don't hold it against them. You just
you
acknowledge you have no
will.
idea what they agreed to, yet you'll call them a quitter for not agreeing to what you think they
All right.
agreed to.
Again, you're lumping me in there with them on this. My problem is from a management standpoint. If I were a manager, I'm pretending like I was a manager. If I were a manager, it would bother me when people just keep quitting and quitting and quitting. And that's what a coach has to deal with. All right. We got our crew. Oh man, somebody else just quit. Oh, okay. We're good now. Oh man, someone else just quit. And I know that's life and all, it doesn't make it easy, but I don't know why you seem to have angst, anger or something towards the coach because you tell him to just deal with it. And it doesn't make it easy on them.
Time out. It is not a just deal with it. You know what it is? The exact same thing I would say if you came to me and said, all the producers quit. I go, that sucks. That sucks. I feel for you.
Yeah,
that sucks. But you know
I'd
what
have
else
to
I would
work an
tell you?
awful lot if that happened.
Correct. You would have to work harder to cover it up. And what would you do? What would you start looking for in a producer? You would start looking to try to weed down your candidate list to people that can commit to staying here. And sometimes people do that and then they leave anyway. It sucks, but it is part of real life. That's how the world works.
I get what you're saying, but introducing legal money into this made it more difficult because now a higher bidder can take them away.
Yes.
They couldn't do that before.
That is true of every person who is even involved in a business, from employees to multi-billion-dollar hedge fund managers.
Call them what they are. Call them employees. Then the argument that you guys are having back and forth, it goes away. Because you're talking about professional sports. They can't argue about that anymore. They'll have to move on. Those hangers on that still want things to be the way they used to be, and they're never going back there. Call them employees. Let's get on with the future and the now and not cling to the past.
I don't want to go back down that trail because that's a whole different discussion. They're not employees. They're, by definition, we're big on definitions right now. They're not employees.
And you're wrong.
No, I'm not. They're, by definition, they are not employees. By definition.
You can pound that harder. It doesn't make you right.
No, I am right. This is not an opinion. This is a fact.
Spill something.
I'm really.
Yeah, but you really want to.
So the point here that I'm making is the tone and the type of statement that is being made is made to call the next generation quitters, say they lack character, whatever. And yes, I am going to defend them from
S-A-W.
I am going to.
SWAT.
I haven't played that clip in a while. I need to start playing some more clips.
This was on me. My bad.
Anyway, we'll talk more about it later on in the show. If y'all want, if you want to get back into it. If not, we'll move on. We got hockey to talk about, basketball to talk about. Mario Herron from BetQL Network joining us in 43 minutes. It's all coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Goosey.
All right, guys, quick live reading. We're coming right back. Y'all stay right there. BRB. right, we're back, dudes and dudettes. Thanks for hanging in there. How many of you are watching X-Men 97? Because last week's episode was incredible. And as soon as I get off the BetQL network today, I'm watching the next episode. I can't wait.
I'll definitely watch it at some point today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm now like on episode 18 of Attack on Titan, which I only watch while I'm walking.
Yeah.
So.
Do you like it? Are you liking it?
Yeah, don't tell Tim, but
that should not.
He
have
even
done
said
that.
he even
I
said
know,
knock knock.
I know. Do you understand? I hate it more than both of you. I do.
By the way, who says we hate it? Yeah, I don't. I don't.
Unbelievable.
I am trying to be polite.
I know, and I appreciate it, which is why I said that should not have scared the hell out of me, and yet it did. Do you want? This is why I don't watch scary movies, because that's all it takes.
Yeah.
All right, less than a minute. If you were coming in to say,
What about suspense?
No. Like suspenseful, like a thriller,
like
Seven. I
like
love Seven.
how about
My
like
favorite movies ever.
Alfred Hitchcock or something
Love it.
from.
Did you see A Quiet Place?
I did not see a Quiet
It
Place.
is more suspenseful
Tell you what,
than
because I know you're
like
getting jump
slasher
scares.
flick.
If it's got jump scares, I'm out. When they put jump scares into like Marvel movies, I hate it.
Yeah, okay.
I hate it.
Fair enough. What are you guys doing later?
Whatever you need me to do.
After the show. Because I think I got one of these mic processors.
That's not true.
need you guys to
I have
help
to
with that.
leave for like an hour and a half, and then I can come.
I
back.
will give you whatever time you need.
I have to leave. I got to go do an interview, but I can come back to help. I have no problem with that.
would be good.
I have zero problem with that.
If he just needs a voice, I can do.
Sure.
that. I mean, I don't know why yours will work better than.
I don't. I
mine.
mean, you don't know that's what he needs. We don't know that's what he needs.
So he implied, I thought. But if he wants me to use a screwdriver, I don't know. Pay for that.
What about your boy Rashee Rice, Lonzo?
Don't you do that. That's a half.
What
But
about
you
your
disturbed
boy?
you disturbed me emotionally there. So that one should not count. No, he's
Oh, stop it. Stop it, newsboy. Nobody asked you. God, your website's banned. That's it.
What
Website's banned.
are you doing? Yeah, he's making some bad decisions. Some really bad decisions.
Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice under investigation for allegedly hitting a photographer at a club in Dallas early Monday, police sources say. Dallas police sources say officers are interviewing witnesses about the incident that allegedly happened Monday, which is the listed at 609 North Harwood Street, which is the listed address for Lit Kitchen and Lounge, which, don't get me wrong, sounds like an amazing place, and is attached to speakeasy venue Few Nightclub, FEU.
Speakeasies. What do you need a speakeasy for?
It's a cool thing to call a bar to make it sound more
Okay. All right.
trendy.
More underground icon is speakeasy. I mean, that's what speakeasies were.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's just it's like calling a place the jungle.
Hey, I'm
It's like, it's not
old.
really a jungle.
You are the guy for
I'm
all
still
the
young and
for
cool,
all
man.
for all the hip lingo.
Yeah, I still got it. Anyway, this all comes obviously just a couple of weeks after Rashee Rice turned himself into police in connection to his involvement in a multi-vehicle crash on Highway 75 in Dallas in late March. Records showed that after Dallas police announced Rice would face charges for his involvement in that crash, Rice turned himself into the Glen Heights Police Department and was taken to the DeSoto jail, where his bond was set at $40,000. His attorney, is this right? His attorney, State Senator Royce West. His attorney is also a state senator?
For where? For Kansas City or for somewhere
Oh,
else?
I'm looking right now.
Yeah, I just
I gotta tell you, if he turns out to be a Kansas City politician, no. Royce Barry West is an American politician who serves as a member of the Texas Senate representing the Dallas-based 23rd District. So the state senator voted in from Dallas, Texas.
Come on.
Is lawyering up for a dude who is being a total dumbass right now.
Most politicians used to be lawyers, or it seems to be.
Yeah,
so
this
that's
just
not
seems
really
like the case you don't jump on. But that's just me. I'm not a politician. I'm an idiot. What do I know? Rice faces 8 charges in the case of the collision, and now he's got this one too. Listen, I don't really have anywhere to go with this other than take all your ire at college athletes and maybe direct it at people like Rashee Rice. this dude on your team on opening day?
No.
Can't be, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised he still is now.
Yeah.
Maybe they're waiting. Well, with
I mean,
another.
you gotta let the legal process play out.
But a second incident, even though it's alleged, if it's proven, I mean, he's got to go.
Yeah, I don't disagree. That's what's the word I'm looking for here? Real bad. Real bad. This is the kind of stuff we should be saving our ire for. Not a kid deciding that a better school is a better fit for him.
By the way, I've got a lot of ire to go around, so I don't need to save it for one thing. Yeah.
Plenty of ire. Plenty of ire. All right. Won't spend a ton of time on this. I do want to get to this. Yahoo Sports has put out their quarterback fantasy football rankings heading into 2024. Now,
You doing it? You doing it this year? You playing fantasy?
No, I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't.
do
it.
Tell
You
you what,
gotta put too much time into it.
It becomes an
Yeah.
obsession for me. Like anything that is a competition that I can win, it becomes an obsession for me.
You just auto draft and forget about it. Oh, did I win? Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
Can't do it. You can't win if you do that. So I end up then having to go, sorry, babe, I got to spend 4 hours in front of my computer on a random Tuesday to draft the fantasy team. And then when it's like legacy time, who am I taking? I'm pouring hours. I don't have the time.
I am shocked that you're not into this the way some people are, because there are parties involved and repercussions afterwards. This just seems like your kind of thing. Going over to the
for the record,
for one of your buddies' houses and spending like 4 hours drinking and picking.
If any of you invite me to your draft party, there's a very good chance I'm showing up. Okay. I will come to a draft party. I just don't want to work during the party. I don't want to sit there, because here's the thing. If I go to a draft party and I'm drafting, I can't dive into the party because I'm working. I'm a general manager, for God's sake.
Could you at least be a consultant where they go, hey, Rob,
Absolutely.
good idea, bad idea. What do you
come
think?
to your fantasy draft party and act as your consigliere.
You have to be a paid consultant, though, right?
Buy me a beer.
Okay.
Call it
All right. That's kind of getting paid.
Yahoo put out their fantasy football draft rankings for quarterbacks, and topping the list, to the absolute surprise of nobody, Lonzo, is
Patrick Mahomes.
that is incorrect.
No. Okay. All right.
Take another stab at it.
You got me there. This is for fantasy. So who would put up the most points?
Consensus across the board from the Yahoo Sports fantasy football experts.
Wow. Tua Tagovailoa.
That is incorrect.
But he's the most accurate quarterback in the league.
He is ranked 12th.
Some Someone lied.
Patrick Mahomes, by the way, just so we can go ahead and get this disrespect out of the way, 4th.
He's had some inaccurate problems.
And the reason I bring this up is because fantasy quarterback rankings go a very long way in dictating how the offenses will perform, at least in terms of the pass game.
Is Brandon on the stream correct?
Kirky is not. I'm not calling him Kirky. I'm not doing it, Brandon. I'm not calling him Kirky.
Yeah, but you just said it.
I'm not doing it. I love you, dog. I'm not calling him Kirky. Kirk Cousins. I'll call him Captain Kirk if you want to. I'm good with that.
He's quirky. He's quirky. He's your
knock it off.
Quarterback.
Knock it off right now. Actually, I kind of do like a sitcom jingle for Kirky. Kirky is 15th on the fantasy football projection.
He is the most sitcom ready quarterback out of all of them, though.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Number 4, Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. Number 2, Jalen Hurts. And the number 1 fantasy football quarterback, according to
Aaron
Yahoo
Rodgers.
Sports experts, if you want to call him that, Josh Allen.
Huh.
Josh Allen selected as the number 1 fantasy quarterback in the entire league.
This is a regular season thing, right?
This is regular season.
Yeah, and did they not know that Stephon Diggs left Buffalo? Didn't someone not tell them?
They are aware.
Okay.
But you know who they do have? Keon Damn Coleman.
Uh-huh.
By the way, new clip. You ready? Keon Coleman.
Chill at the house, golf, bowl a little bit.
You golf?
I ain't no golf. I'm Tiger. Wish he could. I'm not Tiger Woods. I wish I could putt and do all that. Them boys out there shooting 5 under. I ain't doing all that. I'm like TV 5 to hit just to put it in. But I'm gonna go have fun. Like You know, it's controlled chaos. You know, you frustrated, but you can't get mad. Pull a muscle in your back trying to hit the ball. So it forces me to stay calm and just swing, just have some fun.
This freaking guy. That's why Josh Allen's the number one fantasy quarterback in the game, because of that young man. I love, and by the way, that takes exactly correct. That takes 100% correct. Golf is it. This is why I support First Tee of the Upstate. Shout out to Michael Pius in the gang, because there is no game that will teach you tempering your emotion and staying dialed in more than, I swear to you, there's not.
So no one ever gets angry on the golf course.
No. Yes, people get angry.
I was say I've witnessed the anger.
If you don't put that anger away and do one of two things, either be able to put it in the back pocket and ignore it, or be able to channel it, you're gonna suck. You have got to be able to. That's why golf's a great game. That's a separate topic. We'll come back to Keon Coleman later. Point is, Josh Allen, number 1, Jalen Hurts 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Patrick Mahomes 4.
Who's last?
Let me go down the rest of the list, because the next two will be very intriguing to you. Great one. At 5 and 6 on this list, C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson.
Okay, all right. I thought you were going to pull something on me, and I was going to immediately go to break.
The Rooks. The Rooks at 6 and 7.
C.J. Stroud's not a surprise, and Richardson was playing really well before he got hurt.
Yes, he was. Joe Burrow 7, Kyler Murray at 8. A lot of belief in Marvin Harrison Jr. to be the franchise changer. Dak at 9, Jordan Love at 10, Brock Purdy checks in at number 11, Tua Tagovailoa at 12, Jared Goff at 13, Caleb Williams at 14. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm moving Caleb way up.
Wait. This is projection.
This is projection.
Okay, all right.
This is projection.
All right.
I am moving Caleb Williams up that list. I'm going to tell you right now, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, I could throw for 700 yards with the Bears right now just by throwing it up, right? Bleep it, DJ down there somewhere, because the defense is getting pulled 90 ways to Sunday. Kirky at 15.
I thought you said you wasn't going to do that.
Now I'm hooked.
No.
Matt Stafford 16, Jaden Daniels 17. I actually don't hate that as much as I think
thought
Caleb
you'd
Williams.
be offended.
I'm actually not. I'll tell you why. He does not have the weaponry Caleb Williams has. He's up here. In fact, I would say he's this high because of his run game, because he can run the ball. Aaron Rodgers 18 behind Jaden Daniels. Justin Herbert 19, Trevor Lawrence 20, Baker 21, Geno 22, Deshaun 23, Derek Carr 24. Yay. Huzzah. JJ McCarthy 25. Well, at least Derek Carr's ahead of JJ McCarthy. I got that going for me, which is nice. The disrespect to the future first ballot Hall of Famer Derek Carr will not stand. Will Levis 26, Daniel Jones 27, Bryce Young 28, ahead of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, who are 29 and 30.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'm not too upset. Justin Fields' hate is it's horrible.
Gardner Minshew at 31, Drake May 32, Bo Nix 33, Sam Darnold 34, Aiden O'Connell 35, and Jacoby Brissett 36.
Wow.
Who's too high? Who's too low? Who do you think is on the way up? Who's on the way down?
Bryce Young's too high.
At 20, stop it. Stop it.
They like to drink their haterade and eat their hater tots.
Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All the rookies made the list except for Michael Penix Jr. there. Kirky is 15.
Stop. No.
You did it.
No, I guess I pointed it out.
You helped with it.
I am trying to
no, it's just Kirky.
I'm trying to use the stream also because it's a tool. And yeah.
You heard that? Lonzo called you tools.
I did not, but I do like Tool the band. I don't know why, but I do like them. They've got some good tunes. If there's one Tool present, it would be me, probably. You're not Tools. The majority of you are wonderful. I haven't seen Kevin in a while. He's not wonderful.
Yeah, where has Kev been? He didn't come with us in the mornings.
He did some, but he was getting in trouble for commenting. So yeah, we're not worth losing your job over.
That's also true.
Yes, turned it up just in time.
Did he catch the band hammer?
No, Jam Cam, man. Oh, he did something. Oh, I've already forgot it. He said a phrase that was amazing. Not late for the jam, late for something. Why did I already forget it? Because my dude can turn a phrase. That's all I'm saying.
Is Bill Brooks the local Morgan Freeman?
He could be. I really think he could be.
I think so too.
I'm still going to throw Roger Davis in there too. They have that. I want to say old world delivery, but I know that's not what it is. Classic delivery. They have that classic delivery. Kind of like when John Lovitz did acting, except for they're not. That's just their voices.
One of my favorites of all time. Disney will release no more than 3 Marvel films and up to 2 Disney Plus shows each year going forward as it works to place more focus on quality output over quantity.
We'll see.
Good.
We'll see.
Good.
They're already probably going to have a hit with Deadpool.
It's going to shatter everything.
I don't know, maybe.
I think it is. I think at this point, even the people who are over it are hooked.
I'm really uncomfortable going to watch it. I'm not going with Chris though, because she's really loud. Nightmare would be to go see a movie like this with Chris on one side and Rob on the other side. My ear still hurts from the Jar Jar thing.
I'll tell you all what the Jar Jar thing is when we come back to the next break. We got some movement in the college basketball transfer portal landscape. Bunch of quitters coming to your teams, ladies and gentlemen. Bunch of quitters coming to play.
You said we had some movement. I thought maybe you were going to talk about your regularity.
No, I'm good right now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. New diet is made it very interesting the last couple of weeks.
Fluid.
Yeah.
It's fluid.
Yeah. And like there's no timing it. There's none. I've had to poop at work like 3 times in the last 2 weeks, and I hate doing that. I am the dude that would leave the office, go home to do my business, and then come back to work.
See, I kept
and
it.
It's been like, nope.
I kept it cryptic, and I thought clever, and you just went straight for the
I don't
for
think
the
yours
word.
was cryptic at all.
I thought it was very cryptic.
Jaden Zachary and Victor Lakin have both signed with the Clemson Tigers. Head coach Brad Brownell made those announcements yesterday. Zachary, who hails from Salem, Wisconsin, and played his ball last year at Boston College, will join a freshman class that includes Dallas Thomas, Dell Jones, and Ace Buckner, which is a great name. It's a great name.
Ace.
You got to be a dude to go by Ace, right? Brad Brownell said, quote, I love Jaden's competitive spirit and have seen firsthand how he always seemed to do whatever his team needs to win. He's a two-way player who has proven he can guard all 3 perimeter positions in this league. Offensively, he plays the game with great efficiency, scoring and distributing, and his numbers reflect this. Zachary comes over from Boston College, where he was the Eagles' 3rd leading scorer last season, averaging over 11 points per game, added 3.3 rebounds and 4.2 assists per contest while shooting on the season 48.4% from the floor, including 40.5% from 3 and 82.4% at the free throw line. You're adding a dude who hits 4 out of 10 threes. That's a good addition. The Zachary last year totaled 22 double-digit scoring games, including 4 20-point outings. He is a career 40.5% shooter from 3 and 45.5% from the floor, who's totaled nearly as many rebounds and assists in his career. He's got 331 boards, 330 assists, added 168 steals to go along with 1,106 career points. He finished 6th in the ACC in overall games last season in assists with 152 and steals with 63. He was 9th in the assist to turnover ratio. It was a 2.14 ratio. He is a veteran of 102 games, of which he has started 100 of them. Victor Lake comes over, a veteran of 91 games, including 56 starts in 62 games over the past 2 seasons. Last year averaged 11.5 points, 7.1 boards, totaled 9.2 points, and 6.0 rebounds. His rebounds per game last year ranked 12th in the Big 12 conference. The Russian native posted 13 double-digit scoring games, including a season-high 26 in a win over Eastern Washington. He had a season-high 5 blocks against Oklahoma and posted 3 double-digit rebounding efforts while collecting at least 8 in a game on 10 occasions for his career, like in 55.8% from the field, averaging 8.5 points and 5.6 rebounds. He has totaled 74 steals and 78 blocks. While playing at Cincinnati, Brad Brownell said, quote, Victor is an experienced post player who should bring scoring and rebounding to our team. Offensively, he'll fit in well in our system because of his ability to play in both the high and low post. On the defensive end, he'll provide rim protection that will complement our team defense. James on the stream said, wait, Clemson players can transfer in? Yep, all those quitters can come to Clemson.
No, I think he was just surprised, and then he found out it was basketball, because I was surprised too. And then when you started saying rebounds, like, oh, it's basketball. Okay, all right.
Oh man, that's funny. Anyway, it's a couple of good picks.
And Dabo is trending, and I can't figure out why. I'm not putting it on the list.
Oh, 100%.
No,
I don't know for 100%, but in my head, 100% is because Brad is over here not just getting quitters in, but he's bringing in quitters who will play positions that he desperately needs them to. RJ Godfrey is gone. PJ Hall announced earlier this week that he's heading to the association next year, where I think at best he's a late second-round pick. But the point is, Clemson basketball lost their inside power. They do not have inside power. Here you go. You bring in a kid from Cincinnati who plays a very similar style of basketball to PJ Hall. So you replaced PJ Hall with a PJ Hall-esque player. You needed perimeter defense predominantly. That's one of the things that killed you against Alabama. So what do? You go get a perimeter defender in Jaden Zachary, a guy who's going to add you 3-4 steals a game while being able to guard point guards and shooting forwards. He is addressing the biggest needs of Clemson basketball by using the quitters portal. And I respect that.
Meanwhile, if you look up why Dabo's trending, it's just one after the other of him running down the hill and people saying Dabo running away from the transfer portal.
The narrative is the narrative, right? James said, wait, Clemson players can transfer in? What is this sorcery? Yeah, it turns out that is within the rules. It turns out, James. Who knew? Who knew, right? Anyway, I freaking love this for Clemson. You have addressed the 2 biggest needs, perimeter defense and a replacement for PJ Hall. And you just got both out of the quitters portal. And I appreciate that. I really do. They are not alone. South Carolina Gamecocks have added a couple of players. Now, we already know, we talked about Jamari Thomas coming in earlier in the week. He joins Nick Pringle coming in, the big man who you will remember last year in the NCAA tournament as a member of your SEC champs and the longest lasting Southeastern Conference team in the tournament last year. Nick Pringle was kind of a monster for Alabama, kind of a dude in the tournament. Now, he was important throughout the course of the season last year because there were spots, there were spells where Bama kind of needed somebody that could come in and play in the paint, but also play a versatile power forward, big man hybrid. I've told you, like, basketball is interesting to me because it is becoming day by day a more hybridized game. You don't really have pure point guards anymore. You have shooting guards that can play the point or points that can play a shooting guard. Point guards that don't have to be on the ball to make a difference. You don't really have power forwards anymore. You have power forward center hybrids. You do still have some fives, but athletes are so much more athletic now than they've ever been before, that they are now able to play a true five that can go out to the short corner, a true five that can come up to the free throw line, play on the line, play free throw line extended. It's a hybridized basketball now. And so Nick Pringle kind of gives you that. Pringle's a guy that last season played 34 games, averaged 18 minutes a game, and shot 62+% from the field. Not a great free throw shooter. We're only 55% from the line, but he also averaged an assist, a block, and a half a steal per game. Did average 7 points per game, but it was when they got to the tournament that he made his biggest difference, specifically in the game against Clemson. Nick Pringle is going to give Clemson fans nightmares because this is a dude who was putting up, again, consistently 6, 7, 8 points more often than he wasn't, right? 16 against Clemson, along with 11 boards. Part of the reason that PJ Hall, who, let's call it what it is, had a lackluster tournament and had a lackluster exit from the tournament, was because Nick Pringle was a beast when Bama and Clemson got together. One of the reasons I honestly think that Alabama lost to UConn, aside from the fact that UConn was a steamroller, baby, it's James Taylor, was because Nick Pringle did not have a great game, played 16 minutes, had 2 points in that game, 1 assist, no blocks, no steals, 1 turnover, and 2 points. Nick Pringle disappeared, and what Bama could have relied on, which is a guy who could get around, play underneath the rack, but also still extend the defense outwards from the paint, was just not, he just wasn't there. He just wasn't there. Nick Pringle is a big pickup. You add Jamari Thomas to that pickup to round out roster, and you're looking pretty good. You got Jordan Butler, a 7'5". By the way, you want to know how I know basketball is a hybridized sport? Jordan Butler comes in. Jordan Butler is 7 feet tall. You know what they say about that are guys that are 7 feet tall, Lonzo?
You can't teach that.
You can't teach that. Jordan Butler comes in at 7 feet tall, and he's listed on the roster as a forward. He's 7 feet tall, and he plays forward. No, he doesn't. He plays a 5, right? But he plays a 5 that can get out on the wing. He plays a 5 that if you start packing the defense in underneath the iron, he can spread around a little bit. He can stretch around a little bit. And when he stretches around a little bit, he can change the shape of a defense. Now you add Nick Pringle. He's a 6'10" forward. You can teach 6'10". No, you can't. You can't teach that. 6'10". He's a forward. You add in Jamari Thomas, a 6-foot guard. You add in Trent Noah, a 6'6" guard. You add in Cam Scott, a 6'5" guard. This year, you got a little bit more height. You got a little bit more inside presence than you did last year. I'll tell you right now, I like Brad Brownell and how he addressed the portal. I also like that clearly, according to Twitter, and as we all know, social media is real life. According to social media, he's got to make Dabo have to answer some questions right now, isn't he? Because he's out there filling in the gaps via the quitters portal. And I appreciate him doing that. Lamont Paris doing the same thing. We knew what the gaps are. We knew what the transfers out were going to do. We knew what losing guys to Ohio State was going to do. So he's not only bringing in guys, but he's bringing in guys that can play within the system that has already been built. I absolutely love what both of these basketball teams are doing in the portal right now. They're addressing needs by bringing quitters in. And I like that they're not just grabbing any quitters in the portal. They're not just grabbing a bunch of quitters. They're grabbing quitters who fit. They're grabbing quitters who work well within the system. They're grabbing quitters that have played similar styles of basketball or can play a style of basketball that fits into the system that they already have. This is one of those things that I've said, part of coaching moving forward in the portal era. Do you have to work harder? Yeah. You're a personnel manager now, too. You got to personnel manage. And one of the things is you don't just go in and get everybody that's a quitter. You go in and you get the quitters that fit your team. And I will give Dabo credit for this. Dabo's not anti-portal in. He's not rampaging through the portal like Lane Kiffin does. He's not going to get every quitter in the portal that he can get his mitts on like Lane Kiffin does. Dabo does a good job, I think, of bringing in quitters who fit needs within the program. He goes and he gets quitters that work. And it may only be 1, 2, 3 a year. But he gets quitters he believes not only will contribute to the team, but fit in well with the culture. I think both of these basketball coaches, Lamont Paris and Brad Brownell, are both doing that exact same thing right now, just in greater numbers. And I think there's something to be said for that. Hey, coming up in the next hour of the show, we got a lot more we need to get to. We are going to open it up with Mario Herron. Hey, that's Mario. He's the executive producer of Bet for the Cycle every Saturday from noon to 4 and an NBA analyst for the BetQL network. We're going to talk a little NBA playoffs with him. I will run my Nuggets Celtics theory at Hate Nass Mario and see if he's on board with it or not. I think he will be because Mario knows ball. I'm giving him credit for that. That's a compliment from Mario. You know how much it takes out of me to do that? So we'll see if Mario.
Yeah, you don't say that about many people, and you definitely are not normally complimentary of Mario.
I love Mario. Don't tell him I said this. I love Mario. Good kid,
Yeah,
hard worker.
there's no chance that he's listening right now.
I don't know. I hope not. Because then he'll hold that against me forever. So we'll talk to Hate Nass Mario. And then after that, we got a few more things I want to get into. A couple of NFL stories, a couple of NBA stories. And we ask what the X is going on before we call it a day. That's all coming up in the next hour of the Rob Brown radio program and the Fan Upstate. Do want to remind you this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. It is Wire to Wire with Cole and Diesel. Make sure you're tuned in for that. And have a couple of other things to tell you about coming up this Friday evening. Your USLW League, Women's Professional Soccer, your Greenville Liberty are in action for the very first time this Friday night at 10 p.m., and your boy will be on the call once again, the voice of the Greenville Liberty, and excited to do it. Their first home match is this Friday. It is at 10 p.m. It will be live, and I do have some exciting news about that I will tell you tomorrow. We are going to make it way more accessible than it's ever been to watch that game. And then on Saturday, because we just don't have enough going on in life right now, coming up on Saturday, this Saturday, Spartanburg, South Carolina, the new baseball team is going to be revealing their name, their image, their branding to the world. I will be over there live. I am looking forward to it. Tyson Jeffers, the GM of the team, will be joining us on Friday to talk a little bit about the revealing of the name and the branding and how they arrived at it. Here's my question. So we got to have him on Friday because we got to pimp this event a little bit. It's Saturday. It's going to be a big one. Do we run it back and have him right back on Monday to talk about the name if we love it or don't love it? That's not too much, is it? Like, I feel like once the brand comes out,
it's a big deal for Spartanburg. You know, the mayor came on and talked about what it's going to do economically for it.
Phenomenal job.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's big news for the area and for the listeners for sure, especially if we're disappointed in the name.
I don't think we're good.
Because he's going to also, is that what you're saying?
I don't know what it is. I know someone who does.
That doesn't mean
They
that.
did not tell me what it is, but they told me, and I quote, Rob, you will, wait, hang on. Let me do it correctly. Rob, you will love it. So, fingers crossed.
So that's something to do with alcohol.
The Spartan Boozers, for the record,
That's
buying
not-
that jersey on the day of.
That's not it, by the way. There's
Spartan
no way that's
Boozers
it.
would be incredible. You have my money on day one. I don't think so. You know what I'm going all in on? I'm going in with the Sparkle City Dazzlers. Give me a pink baseball jersey, and I am 1,000%.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it's going
Give
to
me
be.
the Sparkle City Dazzlers. I'm buying the jersey and hat on Saturday. I'm wearing it on Monday. Sparkle City Dazzlers. Tyson, if you're listening and that's not the name, it's not too late to change it. You got till Saturday afternoon.
And don't clip this and say it's been announced on the fan that it's going to be. No, Rob's speculating.
100%. Rob wants it to be the Sparkle City Dazzlers. Speaking of being dazzled, Sports Flash.
I bedazzle everything. It makes me sexy. The Oklahoma City Thunder ran away from the Mavericks last night with a 117-95 win as Luka Doncic was swarmed by the Oklahoma City defense. Doncic scored 19 points on 6 of 19 and only 1 of 8 from deep. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander put down 29, including 11 from the stripe late. And the Thunder out-rebounded Dallas by double figures. Boston Celtics holds a 1-series lead over Cleveland after a blowout, 120-95 victory. Donovan Mitchell scored 33 in the losing effort for Cleveland, but the Cavs shot only 26% from deep. Make sure you tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for our brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel get you up to date on all the latest local and national sports show. That's all Wire to Wire. Sports show. Wow, that was so bad. This is the end, my faithful friend, the end. I no longer have the ability to be an orator. My orator is broken. And as a result, I will not read another Sports Flash today. Not going to do it.
Chris said I can stop working today.
Cool.
You know what you can teach? How to beat guys that are 7 feet tall.
So the one I picked is tall enough to where if Cole decides he wants to top down, look, he can.
There's a little note.
Yes.
Right here.
A note?
Yes. Diagram, I guess.
Okay.
Instruction.
Ah.
Does the note have to be written in
I don't know. When you said note, I thought you I thought you put a note on there. So yeah.
So you turn this way,
Lefty loosey. No. Okay.
and counterclockwise to unlock.
Oh, that thing's gonna break.
And as far as I can tell, it's every single segment.
Ah.
So.
Oh, cool.
There you go. That's as short as it gets, which is right about where you want it.
It is. Look at that.
I chose well. That doesn't mean that it will stay in. It will stay intact for a week, but we'll see. Ah.
You know what? Zach Edey threw out a first pitch. Watch this, Lonzo. Grade it. A to F. Ready, go. Golly.
Not the worst one I've seen.
No, it's not, but it is definitely not the best.
I can tell you what it's not. It's
Bob
not.
Uecker said just a bit outside.
It is not a Rob Brown first pitch. That's what it's not.
Rob Brown brought smoke right down the pipe. I mean, put the filthy cheese on him.
Is that why they call it filthy cheese?
I don't know. That's what it's always been called.
No, really?
I have no
So, what is the origin for that? I don't want none of that cheese. It's filthy.
The movie, was it Little Big League or was it Rookie of the Year? I think it was Rookie of the Year. Yeah, it was Rookie of the Year. It was the dugout manager in Rookie of the Year. God, who played him? It was the same dude.
An actor of some sort.
Yes, that is 100% correct. If I recall correctly, it was the same actor that was the tall wet bandit from Home Alone.
Daniel Stern, yeah. Not Daniel Stern. It is Daniel Stern. Daniel Stern and David Stern, I get a little mixed up. They're the same
Daniel
guy.
Stern, that's it.
Yeah.
So he was the better boy, Chris. He was the dugout manager. And once Henry Rowan Gardner, who was the kid who broke his arm, the mom took him to a baseball game. He catches a home run. He goes to throw it back and he like zings it and 1,000 miles an hour back to the catcher. And the Cubs instantly hire him. They make him a pitcher. He goes in. He can throw it 1 billion miles an hour. The Cubs go to the World Series. And in the last game, he falls down and gets hurt. He unbreaks his arm somehow. And then he can't throw the fastball anymore. So then his mom tosses him some sunscreen earlier in the movie. And he remembers, you can, and she looks at him. She's like, toss it. So then Henry Rowan Gardner, who's been throwing 150 miles an hour, is up against the very best hitter that the Yankees have in that game in the World Series. And so he underhands the ball. And of course, as would happen in a Major League Baseball game, when you underhand a baseball to a guy who's like a 15-year veteran that hits 1,000 home runs a game, he swings, whiffs. Henry Rowan Gardner wins the Cubs the World Series. But in that movie that I described in relentless detail for.
By the way, really quickly, apologies and on behalf of the show, the station, and Odyssey as a whole, because Rob didn't say spoilers first before he did all that. So if you haven't seen the movie, it's all Rob's fault.
Yes, if you have not seen Rookie of the Year, which is, if I recall, about the same age as me.
I'm gonna go 96.
July 7th, 1993.
Okay.
So if you've not seen the 1993 comedy classic Rookie of the Year,
Would you really call it a comedy classic?
Absolutely, it's great.
It
holds up.
I mean,
Still
it was all right. It's probably better for baseball people, but I mean,
in that movie, Daniel Stern, playing the dugout manager, yells at Henry Rowan Gardner at one point in which he is throwing a very good game. Throw him the fat, stinky cheese! And ever since that moment, every great heater is fat, stinky cheese. That's just what it is. That is how cult movements are born, with actors that also played in Home Alone as a wet bandit, screaming random combinations of words that become part of the cultural lexicon of America.
Cult movements. No, there's no stinky cheese cult movement. There isn't. Fat stinky cheese. Okay. So, all right. Yeah, I don't. Does Mario subscribe to the fat stinky cheese? Does he actually use that?
We should bring him on and find out.
We should.
Why don't we bring him on and find out? Mario, Mario from the BetQL Network. Mario Heron, of course, he is the executive producer of Bet for the Cycle, which airs every Saturday from noon to 4 on the BetQL Network, and of course, an NBA analyst and insider for the BetQL Network. Number one. Did I or did I not just absolutely nail the description of the movie Rookie of the Year? A, and B, do you remember the scene that I'm talking about? And C, have you ever used the phrase fat stinky cheese?
So this is where I'm going to age myself a little bit.
Oh God.
Look,
again.
the
Here
fats,
we go again every week.
Because the Dyer the Wimpy Kid had cheese touch. So that probably took over the stinky cheese because it was like, oh, you have the cheese touch now. Like that was a big thing around the playground. But anything from Rookie of the Year, you said comedy classic, which I would like to revisit because I'm kind of with Lonzo, where that was kind of a little bit of a hot take there. I don't know about comedy classic for that one. I'm more of a Angels in the Outfield type of guy, if you know what I mean.
And now I'm losing. That's fine. It's only Wednesday. Okay. Angels in Outfield, excellent movie. Funnier than Rookie of the Year.
Angels in the Outfield was a good movie. Don't make me pick. Okay. Don't make me pick, but I'm going Rookie of the Year.
Had Danny Glover in it, right?
It did.
Yeah. You can't have a bad movie with Danny Glover in it and Doc Brown.
Pulled on your heartstrings.
Yeah. forget his name right now, but yeah, I mean,
I'm not helping.
obviously, yeah, and here's another sign of, I hate to say it, another sign of your age, Rob, because you're believing, and I've went through this, and I'm going to help you through it. You believe that someone younger has automatically seen the things that you saw when you were younger, and that's not always so.
I had no idea Matthew McConaughey was in this movie. Yeah, rewatch this movie.
So we're helping Mario be a better person. Hey, let's talk some basketball with hating ass Mario from the BetQL Network here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Let's knock the ones that I don't think a ton of discussion out of here. Boston sweeping Cleveland, right?
Yeah, that series over.
So then, let me present to you a theory that I floated back in the first hour of the show and see how you feel. I actually think that despite the fact that Boston should have swept Miami, the only reason they didn't is because Miami had one of the best three-point shooting nights of any team in the history of the NBA playoffs. And then they come up against Cleveland, another team that despite being the 4 seed, I love Donovan Mitchell. They're just not that good, okay? They're just not playoff good. And it presents a very interesting situation for me here in that I think Boston, when it comes time to turn it on against either the Knicks or the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, will have spent 4, maybe 5 weeks, because they won the Eastern Conference 1 seed in like friggin' January, right? They will have spent at that point quite literally months not having played a game that is really either A, matters, or B, is challenging. And for a team that has already, over the past few years, had issues finding their stride in the playoffs, I'm worried, even though they are playing good basketball in the playoffs, I'm worried that if the Knicks or the Pacers put the screws to Boston and they haven't really been challenged in a while, they might not be able to respond, similar to what's happening to the Nuggets, in my opinion, right now.
I get what you're saying. I do understand the worry, like especially because if you look at Jason Tatum's kind of skating by, not having the greatest playoff performances, and they're still winning. Like he has yet to score over 30 points in the playoffs this year, which is like if you're a superstar, that should be pretty easy for you. He hasn't been doing that, so I understand that. Derek White's kind of been their superstar, if you will, during this run. The only thing I'll say to that is, I just don't think any team's as talented as them in the East. Like, I think with the Nuggets, there's a lot of teams that are as talented and can really put a dent in the armor. Just with the Boston Celtics, I just don't think there is a team that matches them talent-wise. And even if they get the Pacers or the Knicks, I think that's a 7-game series anyway. So both of those teams will come off pretty tired. And, we've seen the Pacers look shell-shocked at moments. They looked a little bit like that in the Knicks game. They got out of it. They're going to look like that again in the Garden. And it's against a lot tougher defense, too. The Knicks will be strung out because every player is playing 43 minutes and above. I get the theory. I understand the theory. I'm not off the theory. It's like any pyramid theory I hear. It's like, hey, I'm not off your pyramid theory. I just don't understand how the pyramids are built. But I just think the Celtics are too talented and they're too well built. I think they run through anyone.
All right. We're going to listen. I'll see you Saturday. We're going to have to come back to this pyramids thing.
Aliens.
Right? We'll
Aliens built the pyramids. Duh.
Yeah, I know. Stacking rocks. We needed help learning to stack rocks real tall. We'll come back to that at another time. All right. I agree with you. There is nobody as talented as Boston. But if they haven't played a game where there's really pressure on them in a couple of weeks, I get worried. Now, let's flip back over to the West for a minute. Denver's 0-2 in a hole to the Timberwolves. This was a Timberwolves team that you wrote off. It was a Timberwolves team that I wrote off. It's a Timberwolves team that Cody Decker wrote off. It's a Timberwolves team that, like most NBA fans, when Cat went down, we were all like, they're kind of cooked. They're kind of in trouble at this point. Not only are they not, Anthony Edwards has turned into baby Mike for some reason at all. And then when they add Cat back in, not only are they up 2-0 on Denver, but they have kicked their asses twice at this point. Dude, were we all just that wrong?
Like a little wrong. There's signs of greatness incoming, but I don't think any sign pointed to Timberwolves in 5, which I think is a very logical thing that could happen here. And that's what I think is going to happen now. Timberwolves in 5. Hand up, I did put a future on the Timberwolves about 3 weeks ago, about 6-1. I am pretty pumped about that. Going to keep riding that ticket out. But there's also things you just can't factor, like expect happening. Like, did we really see 2 times in the first half of game 2 where Nikola Jokic had a shot clock violation, like to the point where he couldn't get a shot off and he just chucks the ball in the air? Like, that's the best player in the world right now. Did we see that when KD was the best player in the world? Did we see that with LeBron when he was the best player in the world? Like, there was Curry. Like, these guys have become the number 1 guy in the world. And never have we ever seen a shot clock winding down and a shot's not put up that just looks decently nice and has a chance to go in. You don't have that at all. And that happened without Rudy Gobert. This team's deep. This team's strong defensively. During the season, like their offense wasn't the best. It took a massive dip. I believe at one point it wasn't even in top 10 in offensive rating. And that was kind of my warning sign. I was like, all right, what's going on with this? But then when you have a guy like Anthony Edwards that can do absolutely everything, and then you have role players that are just killers all around the floor, they have everything the Sixers are missing. Talented young players that are strong defensively, that step up and roles in the playoffs that you need to step up in, not just your star. And that's what they have right now. It's Wolves in 5.
Let's flip over to the other side of the equation, because I still think this is a 6-game series, although I've lost a little bit of faith. Like, my theory is, as I mentioned with Boston a minute ago, I think Denver didn't really care if they were the 1 seed or not. So I think they were willing to like take it easy going into the postseason, make sure nobody's hurt, make sure Jamal's good, make sure Nikola Jokic, they're healthy, they're rested. And then you add in, they get the Lakers. They get an old team. I mean, it's a good team. Let's not pretend the Lakers are bad, but they're led by 38-9-year-old LeBron James and an Anthony Davis who clearly does not want to be a superstar in the league. He just wants to get paid a lot to play basketball. And I get it. I respect it. No worries. I thought the Nuggets have been playing with their food. They let you rope-a-dope yourself to death. They let you fall asleep, and then they do just enough at the end to win that game. Is it more that they haven't shifted gears in so long that it's just going to take a while to get there? Is something wrong with the Nuggets, or are the Timberwolves that good?
I think they're just that good and that much better, and it's a defense that the Nuggets just haven't been really ready for and haven't been able to pivot out of. I think that's the issue. I think the other thing is, too, is, your second best player, Jamal Murray, in the past 2 games in this, 25 points combined, 2 and 8 from the 3, 9 for 32 from the field. So your best player is not showing up, and he can't handle the defensive pressure that he has from McDaniels when he goes up the floor. Jokic can't handle the pressure, the traps. He can't handle Nas reading the paint. Like, he just can't handle it. And I think it just comes down to the Timberwolves are all around a better team. They have more energy right now. They're more prepared for the matchup. And let's face it, too. Like, I think the Timberwolves, we heard it all last year in the offseason. They all thought they were the better team. They all said, if we're fully healthy, we take out the Nuggets. So I think it's an offseason of anger and passion and of we want our vengeance, and they're getting it. Like this, they see this as a rivalry. I think the Nuggets didn't see this as a rivalry and wasn't expecting the energy that was coming towards them. And now they're in a dogfight, and now they find themselves in a pretty big hole that I don't think they can get themselves out of.
All right, let's flip up to the other 2 series. I want to save Pacers Knicks for last, so let's talk Thunder Mavs here for just a minute. Only 1 game down, 114. Only 1 game down, and the Thunder take a lead. I love Luka Doncic. I like the Dallas Mavericks a lot. To be honest with you, I don't see a way they beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. Last night, they just swarmed Luka. And I said coming into this, Dallas wins this game if and only if Luka Doncic has 4 triple-doubles. If he gets a triple-double, they win. He's going to have to do it 4 out of 7 times. Last night, Oklahoma City showed, no, we're shutting that guy down. If everybody else beats us, everybody else beats us, but that guy is not. And I ended that game last night going, yeah, Dallas is cooked.
They're cooked. I think Kyrie mentioned this after the game, and he said it's really hard to match Thunder's energy, and it's incredibly true. The youth they have in that stadium, like that is a hard place to play. OKC, they are loud, and it's hard to match their energy. I think it's also hard to match their energy when you're just in a very tough series against the Clippers. That's kind of built up a little bit of rivalry, if you will, the past couple of years, and that was a very hard win to get out of. And then on top of that, your star player in Luka's not 100%. We saw in the first quarter right away, drives to the basket. I believe he gets fouled. It's not a hard foul or anything, but then he just goes behind the basket and then just kind of sits behind the basket for a little bit and he's rubbing his knee. And as soon as I saw that, I go, this guy's not 100%. This defense is going to be too much for him. Chet Holmgren is really protecting the paint right now and playing fantastic defense. They have so many guys that come off the bench and play spectacular, and every guy's more energetic than the last. And there's a similarity between SGA and Anthony Edwards. I think it's their defensive intensity matches their offensive intensity. And when you have a guy like that playing both ways, it doesn't matter, man. You're not going to win the series. I agree with you. The Mavs are cooked. I don't know now if Luka has to be spectacular for them to really compete. I think this all has now become the Kyrie team. Like it's on Kyrie to do what he needs to do to make this a little bit competitive.
All right, keep this one short because we're against the clock. Thunder Timberwolves is going to be incredible.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
It's going to be incredible. All right, Knicks Pacers. This might be the best series. I honestly thought it was going to be Timberwolves Nuggets, but Pacers Knicks. The Knicks squeak out a win. Indiana, Miles Turner had that dumb offensive moving pick. You got to know at this point, they're calling moving picks in the last 30 seconds. It's happened like 4 times in the last month. But Pacers end up giving a home win back to the New York Knicks. I absolutely think the Pacers can take game 2 and make this thing 1-1 before we head back to Indiana. Give me just your initial thoughts in 60 seconds on this series.
Yeah, I'll keep it quick. The Knicks played Josh Hart 48 minutes, DiVincenzo 44 minutes, Brunson 44 minutes, OG 42 minutes. That's not sustainable for a long series that it's going to be. It's going to go 7 because in that first game, the Pacers were winning that whole game. They end up losing by 4 in a very close one. And they did that on a Brunson 43-point night, and their best player had how many points? 6 points.
All right, last question, then we're out. What's Rocky's last name?
Bambola. You're tweaking me out now. Now I'm overthinking it.
Rocky Bambola.
Dude, don't let him get you like this again.
Rocky Bologna.
It's for a fictional character. That's not real.
Yeah, but even still, you got to be ready for next week. I mean, come on. Just
Rocky Bologna.
Baloney. Rocky Baloney. Adrian. No, that one.
Oh, he knows that, but
Yeah,
not Rocky
he
Balboa.
does.
Yeah.
And he's such a pro. He kept the volume just high enough that it didn't
yeah.
crack. So I mean,
I'm
there's
going
that.
to ask you on Saturday in front of Cody Decker. All right. I suggest you be ready. You know that, right?
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm going to overthink it so hard.
Hating ass Mario.
Write it down, Mario. Come on, just write
Don't
it
help him.
down.
Don't help him. I'm trying to make Mario a better person. All right, day at a time. It's taken 3 years. He's not quite there yet, but we're working on it.
Yeah, Rob's a real role model. Yeah, he's really gonna make you a better person. Yeah.
Bet QL airs Bet for the Cycle every Saturday from noon to 4. You can find it on your Odyssey app. Hating Ass Mario is the executive producer. He is also an NBA betting analyst for the BetQL network. Good talk, big dog. See you Saturday. Looking forward to it.
See you Saturday and Sunday, right? 5-star?
Oh, that's right. I'm in on Sunday morning, too. That's exactly right. We get all the time together this weekend.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to ask you what Rocky's last name in front of Pat Boyle, too.
Pat will be on my side.
Pat knows Rocky, for God's sake, man. He
character.
knows Rocky. You know how I know he's Rocky? Because he's an American. Mario.
Sylvester Stallone.
Was in a porn once. Did we talk about that?
We did.
I thought so. See you Saturday, big dog. Mario Heron from the BetQL Network. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Nice job, big dog. Well done.
Thank you. So wait, so you're on this Saturday, right?
Yeah. I'm on this Saturday. Actually, I thought I was going to have to miss next Saturday because I have a wedding, but it doesn't start till 5 and Courtney is in it. So she's got to go all day. So I'll still be able to do the show.
Okay.
I'll just be doing it in a suit.
Okay. I looked like such an idiot with the age because I was like, I think Rob's out. And he
Yeah,
goes,
I
really?
was
He's in for 5 stars. I was like, all right, never mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I was going to be out next Saturday for a wedding, but like I said, it doesn't start till 5 and it's like 2 minutes from my house and Courtney's got to go be there all day because she's in it.
Okay.
So I'm just going to work the show anyway and I'll just get ready afterwards. So we're good.
Perfect.
Cool. All right,
See
bud.
ya.
Nice job.
See
You
ya.
want me to send this over to you?
Yes. Oh, also, I'll be boots on the ground, Pacers Knicks.
Yeah. That's what is game 3? Friday?
Mhm.
Friday? Okay.
So
All right, well,
my voice will sound like yours 2 weeks ago.
it was a struggle. What are you going to do? All right, man. I'll see you
All right.
Saturday, bud.
I'll see you.
See you. Oh, Mario. Love that guy. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Stay right there. Thanks to Mario Heron for joining us on the show. As always, every Wednesday at 9 o'clock, he joins us to talk NBA shooting hoops. And in a handful of weeks, in September, when the NBA finals end, we'll make the switch over and he'll start talking some NFL football and whatever else we want to get to, baseball, whatever.
Hey, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you pound on the desk? Yes. Okay. Thank you. That's enough. Still doesn't look like Lyon, France, but I was trying. Yeah. We got a new tripod. I wanted to test to see what it would do if you did that.
You get new toys, you know?
Yeah.
You get new toys, you get new toys. All right, let's talk hockey for a minute, man. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. I have tried and tried and tried again to tell y'all if you're not watching playoff hockey, you're missing out, man. There is, in my opinion, there is nothing more intense than a Stanley Cup playoff game. They just are. And the closer you get to a game 7, the more that intensity picks up. If you are not watching playoff hockey, you should. It's fantastic. Except, of course, when your team goes down in an 0-2 hole as the road favorites. The road favorites. The Carolina Hurricanes came into this series with the New York Rangers still, despite being the road team in this series. They came into this series as the odds-on favorite to win the Eastern Conference. They have now dropped back-to-back games, including last night's 4-3 double overtime L to the Rangers. So what went wrong for Carolina? Yesterday, I gave you the 3 things that Carolina had to do. And they were not revolutionary. They were not groundbreaking. It wasn't anything super intense, but that is what it is. Sometimes it's getting the little things right. And that's what Carolina did not do in game number 1. In game number 1, they took stupid penalties. In game number 1, they allowed the Rangers to go on the power play a lot of times. And if you allow the Rangers to go on the power play, they're going to score. They have one of the best 3 power play units in hockey. And the interesting thing is that Carolina had the second best penalty kill in the NHL this year. Second best in the league. But even the second best penalty kill, just being on the ice, is bad. You're skating with a one-man disadvantage like frequently. Even if you're stopping it more than you're not, the more that you allow them to skate on the power play, the more power play goals they're going to score. Again, there are some times, and as I've said to y'all very frequently, I take great pride in knowing ball. I also know puck. I know puck all. Right? I like this game. I like the playoffs a lot. Sometimes in sports, the thing that keeps you from winning are the easy things. And that's what's happening to the Hurricanes right now. We're putting together our submissions for the South Carolina Broadcasters Association's annual awards because Lonzo and I, we don't play for anything less than trophies. So we're putting together our submissions because we want to go to Columbia. We want to clean house again. That's what Odyssey Upstate does.
And Columbia needs us there because whatever the theme is, we kill it.
Every year.
Yeah.
Party ain't the same without sequence. All right. And I don't even know what the theme is this year. I know last year the red jacket happened to work out real well, but the red jacket that hung there for a year got worn. I don't have anything to hang up right now.
Yeah, I was pushed to get that jacket out of the window.
Yeah.
Because I hated that jacket.
Yeah.
In the window. It looked good on you, but I hate
hang it back
I hate
up
it in the window.
yourself.
No. It's not necessary.
So we don't play for anything less than trophies. And yesterday, as I was putting together the submission for Sports Broadcaster of the Year, as I look forward to picking up my second consecutive second place trophy.
Hey, you're gaining on him.
I'm not saying I'm not.
You're going to take him down eventually.
I'm just saying he's Brady and I'm Mahomes. It might take a couple of years. Okay. So I was putting together my submission, and one of the games I was pulling sound from was Furman at Wofford on the hardwood last year. And if you don't remember that game, it was a game that Wofford jumped out to a very early lead. They were up like 15 with 10 to play in the first half. And then Furman just started chipping away, and they got the lead down to 8 and then 6 and then 4 and then 2. And then Wofford turned around and they just went back to a run. Next thing you know, you look up, the lead's 10 again. And Tom Vanoy, who was doing a phenomenal job on play-by-play, Tom said, Rob, how did Wofford jump back out to the lead? And I said, they're just playing sound foundational basketball. They're doing the little things right. Basketball is a game of runs. You've heard that expression before. It's a game of runs. Team's going to go on a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12-point run, but then that run's going to end. And if you're a good team, then it's your turn to figure out, all right, what do we change so we can go on a run here? And I said, what is happening right now is that Furman went on a run. Furman went on a run to cut the lead down to 2. Do you know what Wofford did to respond to that run? Nothing. They played their game because they know their game is what's going to carry them. So they played their game, and eventually Furman missed a shot. Then they missed 2 shots in a row. Then Wofford got a stop. And the next thing you know, Wofford's on a run, but they weren't doing anything special. They were just playing their game. Sometimes you just got to play your game. do the little things correct. And I feel that's where the Hurricanes have gotten lost. They stopped playing their game. Carolina plays, as I described it yesterday on the show, a chaos theory game. They play a game that they want to be disruptive. They play a game that they want to be chaotic. They play a game that they want to disrupt your flow. They want to try their best not to ever let you get into a flow. And they do that in a way that is controlled. They do that in a way that is paced. They do that in a way that speeds up your offense to the direction, to the pace of their game. It is very tough, and most teams fail to try to slow down the game when the Hurricanes are on. They play on the forecheck. For those of you that are not hockey dudes, what that means is when you get the puck, the rink is divided into thirds, into 3 zones that are separated by the blue line. You have a blue line on one side, blue line on the other. If it's on that side of the blue line, on their side of the blue line, that's their offensive zone, your defensive zone. Flip side, obviously the other way around. And then you have neutral ice in the middle. Carolina wants to keep the puck in your defensive zone the entire game. And what playing on the forecheck means is they are going to attack you. They are going to attack you the second that you pick the puck up off of a missed shot opportunity or off of a turnover, whatever. They are going to try to play defense in your offensive side of the ice and not ever let you cross. They want to keep it down there because what they're trying to create is you panicking, trying to send the puck down the ice and creating a turnover they can take advantage of, or you just miss skate. Or you think you're going to have a guy following you up the ice that you can leave the puck for, and then all of a sudden you don't notice the Hurricane coming off the glass over there that just skates in and picks it up away from your team. They play on the forecheck. They play on your side of the ice as often as possible. They don't say, a lot of teams, they want to play on the back. They want to skate back. As soon as they turn the puck over, all 5 guys are getting back to the blue line, and they are establishing a 5-man defense on their defensive side, and they're packing it in, and they're saying, if you're going to score, you got to carry it into the zone with momentum against us. Carolina doesn't do that. They want to play on your end of the ice. And if you get a breakaway, they're going to chase you down, and they're going to try to disrupt that too, which is fine, which is a good way to handle it. It is a good way to handle it unless you are committing multiple penalties. And that's what Carolina's done the last 2 games. They have just committed penalty after penalty after penalty. As I pointed out, you've got last night Mika Zibanejad for the Rangers, who was a Kane killer in game 1. 2 goals in game 1 and was just, he's just a monster. You had him on the ice with a 1-man advantage last night for 7 minutes and 14 seconds. Do you know what happens when a guy who is owning your side of the ice is on the ice for 7 minutes and 15 seconds with a 1-minute advantage? Don't let me spoil it for you. They score. That's what happens. That's what the Rangers did. They tied the game on the power play, a needless power play, and they won the game in double overtime on a power play, a needless power play. Stop doing dumb things, Carolina. That's what lost you that game. Dumb things. You let them on the power play, and your penalty kill just got overwhelmed. Can't do it. Now you got to go back home, and you must win too. If Carolina loses either one of the next 2 in Raleigh, that series is over. We wrap the show up next on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
I just sent you something on X. That's not something that's yours in there. You don't. And that's just, I mean,
All right.
none of our Armada members would do that sort of thing.
You see a FedEx guy or UPS guy or whatever. You see a delivery guy, Amazon guy. You see a delivery guy behind his truck, and he is taking boxes, and he is just throwing them into the back of the truck. I'm not talking set. I'm talking a full-on yeet into the back of the truck. Double overhand. Are you reporting that guy? Or is that snitching? Is that too much of a snitch? Are you reporting the delivery guy who is double overhand chucking boxes into the back of a delivery truck? Or is that considered snitching and dishonorable?
Or maybe you just jump out of your car to the person who's filming him and let him know that he's being filmed. And maybe he just stops. I don't know. Because it's Dana White. He ain't going to do anything to Dana White. If he does, Dana White will lay him out. So, although Dana White may get out of the car and walk towards him, he might start throwing the packages to him. In our area, we are just grateful when things show up. So, I mean, you know.
FYI, I am out of here immediately after the show because the Liberty do have the broadcast. So I have to run downtown, but they're hard drive, so I have to go get them. Then I got to run home, and then if I need to, I will come back up here.
I don't know why you need to come back.
I don't either, but if he asks me to, I'm going to.
Okay.
That's got to get done.
All
And
right.
me being here makes it happen.
Okay, I got it right.
I know.
I mean, you know.
That's just for my own venting purposes.
Is that okay? All right.
Oh, the Armada. Texture said, Rob, I thought baseball was a game of runs.
Out of context, so I mean, this was a long time ago. If you'd have read it right when we were talking about it, it would have been amazing. It was a good text.
It's still a good text. It is still a good text. I'm very proud.
That was not a golf clap you were given. There's too much bass in it.
No, that's a good goal.
No, you were good.
you're right.
Yeah, that's not a golf clap.
You ever been told you clap too loud? I got told I clapped too loud the other day.
Wow,
Not a joke.
You being told that you
Yeah.
do something loud, out of the ordinary for you, and you probably were completely shocked.
Yeah, I've been told I clap. Now,
I can defend you. If you're clapping and you want to make sure you're clapping, you have to clap above your voice, which is booming. So you're going to have to clap a little bit extra hard to make sure that there's actual sound coming out.
the lady friend and I go to we do concerts together. That's our thing. Okay. Our first discussion was about music. That's what we started off with. We started talking about music. We both realized like, oh, we're music people, we're concert people, we're vinyl people. And that's how we kind of ended up getting our talking phase going, if you will. So we go to concerts all the time, and we went to a Kenny Chesney concert last year. Big Kenny Chesney fan. All right, sue me. I grew up on a beach. What do you want? Big Kenny Chesney guy, and there was a point in the concert last year where Kenny does what most like arena artists do, which he's got a chorus somewhere in a song where he gets to the chorus and then he puts the mic out over the crowd. And he's like, sing it, Greenville. And then everybody in the stands, oh, they all sing with him, right? It's a cool moment. A little crowd participation never hurt nobody, right? So he did that. And I don't remember what song it was. I just remember that it was a song that I genuinely love. Again, grew up on a beach, drinking margaritas. Fight me. So I get into it, man. I lean into it. I'm like, yo, I'm in Kenny's band now. Let's go. And she like she like taps me on the shoulder. She's like, you have got to stop. And I'm like, why? I'm killing it right now. Like, I'm shocked he hasn't invited me on stage. That's how much I'm killing it right now. And she goes, no. She goes, you are singing louder than our section combined right now. The only person anyone in this section can hear is you. I'm like, you're right next to me. You're right next to me. And then the lady in front of us turns and looks over her shoulder, and like, she doesn't say anything, but you can tell she's like, no, dude, she's right. She's right. So I was like, oh, man.
Were you that out of key?
I was not out of key. I was
Okay,
just loud.
you're sure? Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I was just loud. I know I nailed it, and I know it. You know what exactly what song? It was a song called. It was a song called Anything But Mine. All right, it's a song about being on spring break. It's a song about meeting love when you're on a beach in Panama City in spring break.
I'm sure that could happen.
Great. It can. It can. Rob Brown used to be young and used to spring break on Panama City Beach.
Also, you're using
All right.
love loosely.
Yeah, very.
Okay. All right.
Very loosely, and maybe even emphasis on the loosely part.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
why I chose that word.
Yeah, we've all scratched that. A lot of us have fallen in love for one night on spring break. It's happened, and you romanticize, man. If I ever see that girl again, like we've all done, it's a great song, and it resonates.
Quit saying
with
we've
the
all.
fellas.
I've never went anywhere on spring break, so
Those of us who have, we all had that.
There you
moment.
go.
We all
That's
had that.
better.
We all fell in love with that guy or that gal for a night, and then you romanticize the crap out of them. We've all
Some
done.
of
So
us.
it's a great song.
Some of us, our early 20s, were lonely, but I mean, you just go ahead.
Point is, really into the song. She's like, I can hear. So we were at Zach Bryan the other night, and they did an encore, and he did his encore real cool. For the final songs, though, what he did is he alternated the chorus to the song they were singing, and then he would intro a band member, and they would do a solo, and then that solo would bleed into a repeat of the chorus, and then out of the chorus, he'd introduce the next band member, and they'd play a solo that bled back into the chorus. It was really cool. And like, I've never seen a band structure it that way. And they all, it was phenomenal musicianship. They all flowed into it. The guy playing the banjo, Keegan's on the stream. He'll remember. He'll tell you. The guy playing the banjo, when it was time for him to do a solo, when he went to introduce the guy, the camera goes over, and the dude, great one, is like, he's like unconscious. And there's two staff members carrying by the arms, like they're like slapping him in the face, trying to wake him up. And Zach Bryan's just introducing him like, yo, get a medic, man. Get a medic. And everybody's super nervous. And then he comes back, and as he's like stands up, he starts killing a banjo solo.
So it was a word.
Oh, yeah. He got me, dude. I was panicked for a second. All right. Play solo. Anyway, point is, get to the end. And I'm like, and she looks at me and she goes, I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm nagging the crap out of you, but you clap too loud. I was like, you're probably right. And I don't know how to address that.
I mean, it's like saying don't have a good time. I mean, do you not know who you're there with? When Rob has a good time, he has a good time all the way. It's a loud, raucous time.
I'll tell you, I'm shy and reserved. Keegan said you hated on Zach Bryan and enjoy Kenny Chesney. First off, again, I grew up on a beach, number one. Second off,
I don't understand why country
I have
is
to defend
so
myself.
big on the beach.
Let me
I
defend
don't
myself.
get that.
Let me defend myself. I did not hate on Zach Bryan. I listened to the fiance playing Zach Bryan music leading up to the concert, and the majority of it was sad boy country music. And you know this, I don't do sad boy country music. There are times and places for all the music, okay? Time and place. But 90% of the time, Rob Brown is either in a good mood or he's doing his damnedest to be in a good mood with or without medication. So sad boy country doesn't really help with that. Sometimes I am sad boy country. Sometimes I will. But you're telling me there's this like young cat who got famous on TikTok and sings sad boy country. You can't really blame me for not being super jacked about that. But as I said on the show the other day, he won me over. He was actually really entertaining. Texter said, Rob, did you know that diarrhea is hereditary? It runs in your genes. Okay, the dad joke armada is back.
I'm just trying to figure out why you're actually reading that out loud.
Because it made me laugh on the inside.
Okay, all
Because
right.
it made me laugh, and I'm a child. I don't know what you want me to say. Because I am a youth.
The child that claps and sings way too loud.
Way too loud. I don't know what you want.
I've had to have a conversation with my wife before. It's like, but the problem is she sings.
Is she the loud one?
No, she out sings the people on the stage a lot. And it's like, you're out singing them. You need to, and she's just having a good time. And she doesn't get it. I'm like, you're singing better than them. Stop.
Was Rob singing as well as that time that his band turned his guitar off? Rob thought Rob was singing incredibly well that night. That night sponsored by Jägermeister. It happens to all of us, man. Happens to all of us.
Listen, you being loud is, my son tells a story how he heard you yell Pappy over an entire arena when we walked into the well once.
I was excited.
And
to
a
see it.
wrestling crowd is pretty raucous.
I was excited to see.
Lots of woos and things going on in the crowd, and you could still hear that. Yes.
I don't know what to
And a lot of times, is Rob here? And I will listen before I look.
I don't know what to tell you.
Which is, I mean, that's unique to you. That's awesome.
Tis what it is. All right. I don't think I probably should have got to this earlier in the show, but what the hell? We had a good show today. We had a real good show today.
You act like that's abnormal.
Yesterday evening, South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer officially named Lenore Sellers as the starting quarterback for the 2024 season. Is anyone surprised?
Oh,
We all knew that was coming, right?
Okay.
Yeah, starting quarterback for the Gamecocks, Lenore Sellers next year. I will tell you last night, once I got done with the work that I had to do until 11:22 yesterday evening, as I tried to lay my sweet little angel head down to nighty-night, I couldn't because I was wide awake because I was focused in, dialed in on winner mode.
You could have finished it today and still have to.
I still have to.
Right.
I needed time for the feedback from the great one, Lonzo. It's got to be up to Lonzo's standards. I don't have a chance if it's not up to Lonzo's standards. I already know I'm in second, but I at least want to give myself a chance.
Again, I'm not bragging. I'm trying to stay humble. I will do my best to help you in any way I can.
So,
not bragging.
After it was named Lenore Sellers as the starting quarterback for the Gamecocks, I did go back. I did go on YouTube, and I did go back and watch some of his tape. Not just the 4 of 4 and 2 touchdown performance against Furman last year. Not just the 36-yard run that he reeled off against Vanderbilt, but actually went back and watched some of his recruiting tape. And again, this is why I don't go super hard in the paint on tape when it comes to recruiting, because you do not know the level of competition in which a school is playing or a team is playing.
Look
or
up
a guy is playing.
look up some old Clowney high school footage.
For sure. You don't know what the level of competition is. If that guy is playing a high school team that's played for 9 straight state championships, he might not look as good as week 1 when he's up against the, class 1A school that's got 200 people in the entire school and has 21 football players on the whole team. So I try not to get like too deep down the pipe. But you can at least see the foundation of the game. You can clearly see the foundation of the game. And I saw it in Lenore Sellers. The dude is built like a tank, right? He is what we would call.
He's a big ass boy, is what he is. God dang.
He's a sturdy fella, but it's like muscle. He's a sturdy boy. Number 2, he is quick on the accelerator, but here's what I love about him. He's quick on the accelerator, but his eyes stay downfield. That is hard. When guys get on the run, the natural instinct is to what? Start looking around to see who's going to knock the crap out of me. When he's on the run, I stay down the field, and I like it. We may do a film study on Lenore Sellers in the next couple of days.
Hey, look at that. It's that time. Already, the day is nearly over for us, but it's, just begun for all of you. Let's see what is Xing. The first thing you're probably not going to know, but I just want to say it.
Try me, dog.
Trick Willy Wonka.
I haven't watched NXT yet, and I got to assume it's connected to that, but I have no idea.
When you have the opportunity and the platform to say Trick Willy Wonka, sometimes you got to say it.
I'm not mad at it.
All right. Watch it today, and you'll see why.
I got X-Men 97. I've got.
I just got spoiled.
NXT.
I just got spoiled on X-Men, and
For today's episode.
Well, because Wolverine was trending, so I clicked on it. I shouldn't have.
You got to know better.
And
You gotta know better, dude.
I was.
It's a rookie mistake, Lonzo.
Yeah, but I'm scratching here, trying to find something. It's one of those days where everything's kind of political. Nothing's
Rookie
really hidden.
mistake.
Yeah, well, it's a bad one. It's almost as bad as when that guy said, "Hey, go ahead and you can watch the end of Empire Strikes Back." It's almost that bad how I just got spoiled, but that's on me. Don't look it up. All right, the next thing is Xing is Sean O'Malley.
Sugar got into it with Conor McGregor. Said that he hopes McGregor's next opponent, I believe he said, knocks his head off. Was the phrase or something similar to it? Just so we're all very clear, I'm very clearly # Team O'Malley in this one.
Sean O'Malley is saying that he'll move up to 155
to fight Conor.
To fight Conor, yes.
He'll beat Conor McGregor. He'll beat him outright.
I will tell you that alone would get a bunch of people to buy a pay-per-view.
I'm not going to lie. That one might do it for me.
See, whether you love someone or you hate them so bad, like I hate John Jones's ability to stay in the UFC, even though he ain't done nothing. Yeah, I know he's won all his fights, but he fights like once every 3 years. I will always, if I can, buy a pay-per-view to watch that guy lose because it's going to happen eventually. I'm guessing you probably have the same attitude towards watching Conor lose.
I will not buy a fight that I honestly think Conor McGregor can win. I won't buy it. I'm not giving him a dime. I will pay him $5 to watch him get his face kicked off. And I think Sugar can be the guy that does that.
I'm looking forward to it. I hope it happens. But Conor's last couple outings in the octagon have not gone well for him physically.
Yep.
So, I mean,
he's cooked, dude. He's
yeah,
done.
we'll see. We'll see if his legs can hold up because right away when he fights his next fight, they're going after his legs.
I'm chopping him out immediately.
I mean, you know the weakness is there. And finally, the last thing is X, and I'm reluctant to do it, but it's still trending, is Aaron Hernandez.
Okay, so if you have not watched the roast of Tom Brady, it is vulgar. It is crass. They pull no punches. It is way below the belt. And also one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Nikki Glaser is incredible. Kevin Hart. I'm not even a huge Kevin Hart guy, but I am as a roast guy. Jeff Ross is fantastic as always. But at the end, of course, he who is roasted gets the last laugh. Tom Brady gets up and he's making fun of Gronk as everybody else did throughout the night. And Gronk, by the way, was rolling laughing at the jokes about him. And I appreciate that out of Gronk. Brady said, "Thank you for doing your job, but the bar for tight end wasn't that high. Block, tackle, catch, don't murder." And the internet, for some reason, why is that the joke?
No, it's not that joke. It was another one about a necklace. It's that one, yes, including his ex-girlfriend. She's ex because he's dead. She was very unhappy about it.
Hey, I don't know what to tell you. Don't watch the roast. If that kind
Stop
of
it,
humor,
Wesley. That's not funny.
Have a good day. It's the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate later. Yeah.
That's pretty messed up, dude.
Oh, for sure. My humor is messed up. That is why I don't.
No, I was talking about Wesley. I already knew about you.
And that made me laugh. All right, dudes and dudettes, you're all spectacular. I have to run immediately, so we got to go. Thank you all for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show. Come back tomorrow. Thursdays are always good. Rashad Beard, Fight Club with the Great One Lonzo. May have a special guest lined up. We'll remind you, Damian Priest here on Monday. I hope. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.